Dun, 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 dun. Morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Can you taste it, Padres fans? Because I'm telling you, there's something in the air right now. Thanks for being here. Welcome in. Thanks so much for paying attention, listening to, being involved in our little passion project here. It's actually not. It's our career, but feels like a passion project sometimes. And just a great group of people that we have gathered and collected over the years that make it a priority to listen to Ben and Woods every day. Still a mind-blowing scene for me. I can explain a little bit more about that in a moment, but wanted to introduce ourselves. Maybe it's your first time listening. If it is, welcome. I'm Woodsy, and that is Paul Reindl. He is the executive producer, also the imaging director for the station. So when you hear the imaging, when you hear 97.3 The Fan, Paulie has put all that together.
Now, that's not me.
That's not you, but you put it all together.
Yes.
And the audio. Paulie is an audio wizard. I was going to combine Paulie and audio. Patio is an audio wizard, and he's also our executive producer. Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, and the reason I say that is that he also works at Channel 10 and has for 20 years and a couple of days. And he's the only man I know that does a morning show and works nights doing sports on TV. And he's here. I mean, we're all waiting for Ben to snap at some point. I feel like it is coming. I feel like it will come. It's a matter of time. You can only stretch a rubber band so far until eventually it snaps and gets one of your thumbs. Right?
I snapped 4 years ago. You didn't even notice.
Yeah. It's all you're already
snapped
gone.
Very quietly, but I actually already snapped a long time ago, and you missed it.
His snap would be different than mine. I snap several dozen times a day. Ben snaps once very quietly in his car, just driving around. He goes, "Oh, I'm tired of this." That's his version of snapping, I think. So, which is good because, listen, it's. Nobody works. A lot of people work those shifts. Nobody works those shifts together. So we have Benjamin. And he does those together.
That was good. Thorough explanation of who we are and what we do.
Yes.
Without ever really touching on who we are and what we do in the morning.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
This show is beyond explanation.
It is.
I've done it now with you for almost 7 years.
Yep.
I don't think that I can totally explain what this show is.
So funny that you say that. You know what it is? And what I realized yesterday. Our show is essentially a sitcom. And you can run the risk in radio when you do a sitcom type show of leaving people behind. People tune in, they go, I don't really follow. I don't know what this do the show bitch means. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. And I have always loved those type of shows. I like to find people that I like, and I like to follow along with their lives. Those have always been the shows that have been my favorite. The show that if I tuned into in the morning and it was just rip and read scores from last night, breaking down analysis, I can listen to it, but they'll get me for about 7 minutes. But the shows that I'll sit and invest 3 to 4 hours in, well, what's going on with so-and-so? What's going on with this guy? Why isn't he there today? Is he hungover again? Like, those are the shows, serial shows, sitcom-y type shows. That's what we are. And I realized that yesterday. That's what it is. It's more of an adult sitcom, but it's definitely like a sitcom.
Like yesterday's episode would be called like the one where Woods goes after some random dude in Victorville who made advances at his wife on Twitter.
And I wouldn't even say I went after him. I grew to appreciate him by the end of the night. And I told you guys that over the weekend, if you missed this, we did it later in the show. But I was at Oracle Park with my wife and kids. And then my wife posted a lovely picture of us at Oracle Park. And all of a sudden, I just am looking down at the comments, hearting comments, liking comments. And some guy, his name is Russ, he said, "Yo, hit me up or at me to say sup or looking for a side thing." So I looked at that the other day, and I laughed hysterically because I clicked on his picture, and I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. I'm not trying to be mean here, but he looks like a cigarette butt. If a cigarette butt had a face, that's Russ. He's on a very, very dirty couch. I mean, I can see grime and dirt on the couch. He's got a shaved head. He's got a weird goatee and a mustache. He looks fairly diminutive, and he's throwing up the middle finger, which is just as hard ass as you can get, right?
It's pretty cool.
In the picture, it's
if I'm being honest, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So he's laying
cool
back.
move.
The sun is coming in to his trailer, and it's shining a light on his finger. And I think the couch actually came with the trailer, and there's wood paneling behind it. So you know the deal. So he writes this, and I write back, and then look, I retweeted it. I'm not trying to attack the guy. He jumped in our family picture, so I'm going to get you a little bit. So yesterday, we talked about it on the air, and then this dude tweets again. Should you read it? I think it's funnier if you read it, actually.
I've got to find
I'll
it then.
find it
All right,
for
you. You can send it to me. But honestly, he seemed a little confused as to what he had waded into because he had done this before with other pictures.
And I retweeted it
all the time.
yesterday.
But none of them had quite the following, I think, that you had, or
Correct.
no one had bothered to ever kind of push back at his method. All right, this was
these two.
This was Russ. So, some lame-ass sports anchor coming at me about his wife. She probably at me first for some of it, the half he knows. And then after Woods retweeted and made a big deal about it, you could see where he was trying to figure out what's going on.
He's like, "What's happening?"
Who the
Whoa,
who the
jeez,
Whoa,
Ben,
whoa,
jeez.
whoa,
who the F all you people?
Whoa.
Yeah, I said what's up to her. She's hot. Who the F cares? I'm supposed to keep track of every dirtbag some chick is with. I see what I like. I go for it. F off. Russ.
So I saw that tweet, and I read it, and I showed it to Hannah. She was laying next to me in bed. And I go, "Babe, check this out." "Yeah, who the F are all you people?" "Yeah," I said, "what's up to her? She's hot. Who the F cares? I'm supposed to keep track of every dirtbag some chick is with?" This was my favorite. "I see what I like, and I go for it. F off." And Hannah goes,
I tell you, this guy's cool.
so I leaned over.
That's cool.
I go, "Read this." She goes, "Yeah, that's pretty good." I go, "Yeah, I agree. I agree." But again,
I went through the math yesterday. I mean, he needs a very low success rate if he tries enough, shoots his shot enough times. Low success rate works in that situation.
bro, I was.
Now, he doesn't know. I mean, obviously, it looks like you're a happy family, but something could have happened on the trip where all of a sudden Hannah is a free agent, and he doesn't know, and so might as well just throw it out there. It costs very little for him to send that tweet.
It costs him nothing.
Exactly.
He's not. He doesn't pay for X or anything. He's just a man looking for love at the end of the day. But I think I took some wisdom from him yesterday. I see something I want and I go for it. F off. I mean, that should be that should be everybody's motto. Do you guys have any inspirational things on your mirror at home, or do you have do you do that? Do you put I've kept a couple of fortunes from fortune cookies and I tuck them into the side of my mirror.
I'm going to let you guess whether I keep inspirational fortune cookie messages on my bathroom mirror. Just I'm going to give you the coin flip shot at it, and you tell me.
I'll take no.
I'm going to say
Paul's
no.
got
I'll say no.
Wow,
as
you're
well.
both right.
I also have a calendar, an inspirational quotes calendar that in the morning I get up, I go to the bathroom, I rip off the deal, and I read the quote of the day. About 70% of the time, they're pretty good. Some turds in there, as to be expected. There's 365 of them. They're not all going to be winners. But I thought, man, I need to put that on my mirror. That's where it belongs. I see something I like, I go for it. F off. I mean, it really is a good way to live. He has no fear. So, that's when we say, sitcom and serial content, that's what we mean. I mean, you got to check in and see what happened the day before, right?
Correct.
He's something. He is something. Now I'm kind of rooting for the guy. Not with my wife, but with somebody else's wife or somebody else, or maybe he just finds love.
Should we see if he'll call in?
100%.
We should probably follow and DM.
If you can't,
feels like that might be a little risky on live radio. Maybe we can tape
Maybe
it
we
after
can
the
tape
show and then edit it up. But live radio, that
Well,
seems a little risky.
We got a dump button. Maybe we have him in.
We need about 17 of them if we were going to have him on live and he speaks the way he tweets.
Maybe we have
so.
Hannah in, and he can talk to her on the phone.
Christmas and holiday extravaganza.
Ah.
The two of them together. A Christmas miracle. Ooh,
We'll do the Valentine's Day show.
I got it. Well, here's what we'll do. We get a booth, an isolation booth, and for the Christmas and holiday extravaganza, they play 7 Minutes in Heaven. And I put my wife in there with Russ. Russ? Is it Russ?
Yeah.
Russ and Hannah in a booth for 7 minutes in heaven. And then they come out and see how did it go in there? We'll interview them. She's going to slit my throat. She's going to absolutely slit my throat. So I think that'd be a good that'd be a good one. Yeah, bigger news too that I'm a sports anchor. I'm not a sports anchor, my friends. I'm not. Holy cow. So yeah, it was a fun one. I've really come to like the guy, and I'm rooting for him. I hope he finds love. It's hard out there in Victorville, I imagine, to find love.
Meanwhile, we had a nice time down at Petco Park yesterday before the game. Went down to the Padres clubhouse, ran into some old friends, recorded an interview with Michael King that you're going to hear later in the show today. But mostly felt good to be down there with the team back, and the vibes are excellent now at Petco Park.
Elite? Like, we've been in that clubhouse before when things weren't going well, and we've been in that clubhouse when things were just, whatever, just kind of puttering along. Different. It's different. You can see it. Guys are together. Guys are really shooting the breeze together. Everyone's smiling. The energy's through the roof.
What did I say to you? We were in there for about 10 minutes before we had to go back outside to the dugout to record the interview. And in those first 10 minutes, me and Woods were walking around, and I go, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 weeks. But this feels like a different team.
Yeah,
the vibe in the clubhouse. Every time we've gone down there this year, but in particularly yesterday, coming off a sweep, of course the vibes are going to be high. But I'm looking around, everybody is bought in
and focused.
Everybody's buddy,
yeah,
but focused at the same time. It's not just grab ass. Like, everybody, there's just a different energy in that clubhouse. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to mean. I don't know if it means anything.
You get the feeling, too, come game time, these guys are really excited to get out there. They really, really are. And I think last night was a really good indication of what this team can do. And they can beat you in a bunch of different ways. And I thought I was just really impressed, man. I was really impressed with last night's victory. I've been impressed for the second half of this season of how these guys have played. Everyone was super cool. Everyone was super friendly. Michael King, I'm going to tell you this right now. He's a gem. He is a total gem and just a great representation of this team and this city. I hope he stays until he's done. He is a fantastic guy, and I hope you guys like this interview. We got some fun behind the scenes of it as well. But man, just a great group down there. Honestly, man, just a great group. Guys busting balls with each other in the middle of our interview. Well, actually, right at the beginning, we got started. Tyler Wade was taking batting practice. And he's out there, and he's got his little basketball jersey on, and he's hitting. He sees Michael King in the dugout with us. And he doesn't say anything. He just walks up and stops and stares and trying to make Michael King uncomfortable. Definitely something I would do to Ben if Ben was about to be interviewed. And he's like waving him off. Then he goes, "Hi, Tyler." He's like, "Hi." He goes, "Why don't you go hit?" And he goes, "I did. Couldn't you hear it?" And Michael King goes, "No." Just like that. I mean, it was great. It was great. So it was a lot of fun. These guys are, man, they're doing it. They're doing it right now. So like I said to open the show, if you're a Padres fan right now, you can taste it a little bit out there. It just feels different.
Well, we will set the menu for the program today, our sitcom, as it were, what the episode will entail in our next segment. But obviously, there'll be a lot of Padres talk. Get into the magic number. There is a little bit of math that I'll need to do on your magic numbering again like we did yesterday.
Well, I was completely wrong. And I think I saw a lot of people were wrong about the magic number.
It's a little more confusing than it used to be. Don't worry too much about it. Just be confident in the fact that the Padres continue to head themselves in the correct direction and closer to the postseason. So we'll get to all of that coming up next. First, our friend Kelly Danick will give you an update on the traffic early morning here in San Diego on our roadways, and then back with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So I did get a ton of questions last night about what's the new magic number for the Padres. We calculated it on the air yesterday, and yesterday it was at 8. And you'd think, well, the Padres won, the Braves lost, so it's at 6. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, unfortunately. This is a result of baseball going away from the old Game 163. It used to be very simple because if you finished tied, you'd play another game. You had to get one more than that on your magic number. It didn't matter. There were no three-way ties. It didn't factor in. But now with the new format, it becomes a little more complicated. The reason that it was at 8 yesterday was because the Braves and Mets were tied and had to play each other 3 times. So even if the Braves had won all their games, they would have had to have handed the Mets 3 straight losses. Now that the Mets won yesterday, the math doesn't work quite the same anymore, and now the magic number for the Padres to clinch a playoff spot, no worse than the 6th seed, the final wild card, is at 7 today over the Atlanta Braves. So keep that in mind. Any combination of 7 Padres wins and Braves losses would get the Padres into the postseason. Fangraphs has that mathematically represented this morning, Woods. 99.0% chance that the Padres make the playoffs.
I'll take those odds.
Gulp.
Of course, they also had the Philadelphia Eagles at about 99.4% chance to win last night on Monday Night Football with 2 minutes to go, and it didn't happen. So it is sports, and crazy things do occur. But
I heard there was a pretty crazy ending to that game, but I didn't have like a rooting interest, so I wasn't following along. Did either of you guys happen to have any interest?
I mean, I had a fantasy football interest. I needed one more catch from Devontae Smith to beat Sammy Levitt, and I did not get it. I lost by like 0.02 points.
What about you, Woods?
But
had the Eagles just won the game outright, no spread or anything, I would have won $2,500. So hit
like American dollars.
Yeah, $2,500 was.
So you had a 99.4% chance of winning $2,500.
Yeah, your boy was pretty confident last night. He had, I had a Jalen Hurts touchdown, Kirk Cousins touchdown, Saquon Barkley over 78.5, and the Eagles win was the last part of it. Put 100 down to win 2,500.
So you could have sold that ticket on the market for about $2,400 at that point.
I don't know where this market is, but my guy doesn't work that way, so I just have to text him and be like, "Hey, how about a payout? Hey, how about a payout?" And then usually takes about a week.
Saquon Barkley doesn't have hands of stone. You're sitting here flush this morning.
Yeah. I'm up already. I've been flush for a while, but I'm just like
flush.
That would have been way more flush. More fun to play when you have more in your account. So I was pretty. I couldn't believe it. I thought to myself, oh man, soon as this win hits, I'm going to go look at the account, see what it is. Nope, lost again. So very cool.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It is. It's all right. It happens. You win some, you lose some. You live to fight another day. Gamble with your head, not over it.
We live to do another show today. Here's what we've got coming up for you. The Padres wrap-up. We will do the really look at last night's 3-1 win over the Houston Astros. Yu Darvish's performance.
Look?
I was going to say the deep dive into the game. So I was going to say a deep dive into the game, but
we'll do the really look at it. I like this. We could brand that, actually. Coming up next, the really look.
But I know Annie and Elston do the deep dive hour, and
we got to change it up. We're going to do the really look. The Men and Woods really look is a new thing. You created a new bit just like that. Yes. I love it when an organic bit comes together.
We call it a Padres wrap-up.
Yeah.
Which is coming up in our next segment.
Also known as the Men and Woods really look. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Don't worry. I'm going to get my time in the chamber later, as you know, Ben. So
we will talk to Michael King at 7:35. It's an interview that we recorded in the dugout yesterday, as you just heard, but a really good conversation with a guy who I now really, really want to be here long term.
No doubt.
He is going to be a Padre. He's under contract through next season. Padres control his rights, but after that, he's going to hit free agency, so I imagine it's something that will at least be an off-season topic coming up for the Padres about potential extension for Michael King. But we really enjoyed that conversation. Looking forward to bringing it to you at 7:35 this morning. Jesse Agler, it's an Incorporator Tuesday, voice of the Padres, will be with us at 8:35 this morning. And then around that, we've got all of our usual features like Take on Woods and Don't Do This and the Rindle Report. We also have some Padres Astros tickets to give away. Now, that's for tomorrow's game, right? But
Correct.
we're going to give them away later in the show today. So a chance to go and pick up one of the Fernando Tatis Jr. bobbleheads and see the Padres in their second to last series finale tomorrow of the season before they take on the Chicago White Sox. And that's it for the home schedule. I mean, we're crossing our fingers that there's going to be some home playoff games at Petco Park, but none of that's assured as of yet.
No, sir. Not promised to anyone, so soak it in while you can.
We also have a giveaway a little early today. In fact, if you want to call right now, we've got a family 4-pack of tickets to the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks live glow party this Saturday at Pechanga Arena.
A lot going on there.
Tickets are available at AXS.com.
But Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Monster Trucks.
Monster Trucks.
Glow party?
Glow party. It's live. It's Saturday. It's at Pechanga Arena.
Nice.
For details,
Kids
I
will love it.
suggest hitting the Google machine and figuring it out. But if you're looking for something to do and you got a family, 4-pack of tickets, call right now, 833-288-0973. Paulie's going to take the third caller, 833-288-0973. You can win that family 4-pack of tickets to see the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks at Pechanga on Saturday.
Nice.
All right, we'll come back and do our really look at the San Diego Padres
Yeah,
last
really
night
look.
against the Houston Astros. Don't go away. Ben and Woods continuing here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, they're arguing with your math in the chat, and I don't know what to do because if you have to explain yourself again, you might lose me and Paulie.
I don't have to do the math again.
Oh God!
It's pretty,
oh boy!
I don't have to explain anything to you people.
I've kicked the hornet's nest. I think when you question Ben's math, you can question a lot about Ben. Don't ever question his math.
F you.
Right.
Honestly, the simple way to explain it is when you're trying to determine a magic number, just assume that the teams that are chasing you win every game.
Okay.
And if you do that, how many games does your team need to win to clinch a playoff spot? Because the magic number, you can always control your own destiny by just winning enough games. And right now, if the Braves and Mets won every game, and right now would be the Braves because they're in the last spot. If they won every game the rest of the way, Padres would need to win 7 times.
Okay.
To finish tied with the Braves, and they had the tiebreaker against them.
Still don't understand, but no, you do
I trust you.
Hey, will you do me a favor, Ben? When we clinch, will you just text me and let me know? Or you can say,
I would think that you'll notice the champagne popping in the clubhouse.
How about this?
Everything.
Hey, why are they celebrating? What happened?
Hey, how about this? Give me like a good solid 24 hours. Like, hey, Woodsy, just so you know,
The Padres win on Friday.
if the Padres win on Friday and or so and so loses, you win. Because it would be like me to do a premature sell. I'm going to be at the game on Friday. There's a chance. They clinch Friday night. I would be there, which would be really sick. So would you give me the heads up on Thursday and let me know where I'm at?
I will give you 24 hours of heads up. This could be the day coming up.
Again, you're talking to somebody that doesn't know what a deductible means. I still don't know what it means. I don't know what customs are. These are things, you got to go through customs. Oh, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. What's that? I try to understand. We've done this bit before. I don't know. Babe, what's our deductible? 500, I think. I don't even know what that means. I don't know.
You're like, so do I give you 500? Do they give me 500?
It's going to cost me $500? Or no, I've already paid $500? Oh. Like if I get in a wreck, well, what's our deductible? I don't know. What should I do? I'm like a moron when it comes to this stuff. So, and math ask my dad. My dad, who used to scream at me at the table. Scream! When we were doing math at the table. Because he's a math guy. He's like Ben. It just clicked for him. And I wouldn't get it. And I would flip my papers up and throw them all over the room, and he would not understand. So I stick to my strengths. He's double checking his math right now.
I am double checking.
Yeah, he is.
I also have a website that double checks it as well, and they also agree that it's 7 at the moment.
Okay, 7.
But that also involves the potential of 3-way ties, where the Padres could still lose to the Braves in a 3-way scenario. That's why it's just more complicated now than it used to be. It'll work itself out pretty soon.
Jeff says, after trying to understand Ben's math, I'm confident knowing the magic number is purple. Yep, that's it.
Exactly.
That makes more sense to me.
They can't clinch today.
They will not.
I will let you all know they cannot clinch a playoff spot today. They did get closer, though, last night. We will go through the highlights, our Padres wrap-up, coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. Yeah, guys, off to a busy start this morning. Got this crash on southbound side of the 15th and 32nd Street. Several vehicles involved. They're over to the right shoulder. We've also got on the southbound 5 at Imperial, accident involving several vehicles. Tow truck is on scene. It's got the slow lane blocked. And not far from that, on the Coronado Bridge, about mid-span heading over to the island. Accident involving a car and a motorcycle. That's got the left lane blocked. Also traveling on northbound 805 before the 163. We are getting reports of a stalled pickup truck in middle lanes. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage.
2-2 to Machado. And the pitch from Arrighetti is ripped into left field. That's a base hit down the line. Profar going to score easily from second. Manny is on his way there to replace him. Hayward's throw will be cut at short. Back-to-back two-out doubles in the first. And the Padres with a 1-0 lead. For Darvish is near perfecto. Here's a ground ball from Bregman off the handle out to Machado at third base. Manny throws him out, and 3 ground ball outs for Darvish in a 1-2-3 top of the fourth inning. Paz with a 1-0 lead over the Astros. Merrill swings at the first pitch, sends one a mile to center field. Dubon will leap. He's got no shot. It's going to go. Another homer for Jackson Merrill. 413 feet to straightaway center field, and the Padre lead is 2-0. 1-2, line the other way, into left field, base hit. Hayward plays it on a hop. They're going to wave a rise. Here comes the throw from Hayward, the tag, and he is out at the plate. Rise came in awkwardly, sort of tumbled over Caratini. And Luis now down on his hands and knees in the dirt behind the left-handed batter's box. Here's the 1-1. Alvarez, hard hit liner up the middle. That's into center and a base hit. Altuve rounding third. He's going to score. Merrill's throw will go into second base. And the Astros are on the board. Back-to-back hits to begin the 8th inning. 25th pitch of the inning for Tanner Scott. And it's taken right down the middle. Strike 3 called. Caratini was not looking for the fastball, but the fastball is what he got. Astros with a run on 2 hits. There was an error, and they leave 2 men on base. On 3-1, Jurickson swings, hits it in the air to deep right field. Way back, gonna go! Jurickson, Profar's 4th hit of the night, is his 23rd home run of the season, and the Padre lead is 3-1. Here's the 2-0, swung on, hit in the air to right field straight away. Should be it. Fernando there, he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Beautifully pitched game by the Padres. Darvish, 6 shutout innings. A couple of homers by Merrill and Profar after Machado's RBI double. And the Padres a nice, clean 3-1 win over the Astros here tonight. Pick up a game on the Diamondbacks in the wild card standings.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Hard-fought, battle tonight. 2 good teams going at it. And, man, he was great. He was really fantastic, very efficient. Controlled counts, fastball had a lot of life to it. Spin was good, threw to both sides of the plate. I thought he was vintage you. He was tremendous.
Love it. Vintage you.
6 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, but made the pitches that he needed to make. Got some weak contact, fielded his position well.
That play was very difficult
to end the second inning.
Yeah.
Very tough swinging bunt that he had to go field to his right and then throw all the way. Got him by just an eyelash at first base to thwart a potential early game rally for the Houston Astros.
Great work.
Well done by Darvish yesterday.
Thwart is a great word.
Thwart.
You've really been mixing. Is there another show doing incorporators with you lately? Because
Thwart.
Yesterday it was a bunch of French words, and today it's thwart, which I love it. I love it. Great performance from Darvish last night. Good performance from the bullpen last night. I think the overarching theme of what I saw from the fan base last night was a pretty terrible send by Tim Leeper, who, by the way.
All right, you want to jump right into
Let's dive right in.
Luis Ariz, because it is certainly the most concerning aspect of last night's game is the health condition of Luis Ariz after he slid into home plate on a ball that they did not need to send him home on. Now, is it a ridiculous send? No,
Yes.
Of course.
No, it is.
It's not ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. There's literally no reason to make that send. None whatsoever, because of who's running and the situation. Most importantly, who's coming up behind him. Luis Ariz is, let's be honest, guys, as much as we love him, he's not a fast runner at all. He's not a particularly great base runner either. Jason Hayward is a world-renowned defender and with a very, very good arm. And again, with less than 2 outs, so they had 1 out. It happens, man. It happens all the time. And I'll say this for Tim Leeper. I like Tim Leeper. We talked to Tim Flannery about Tim Leeper, and Tim Leeper has gotten better at his job as the season has progressed. I fully agree with that. Like, Matt Williams was the worst I've ever seen. He was the worst I've ever seen coach third base, and he's still doing it for the Giants. He's still doing ridiculous sense. I think Tim Leeper has really done a great job, but I thought last night, I don't know why you would, maybe caught up in the moment or something. Yes, I realized it took a perfect throw and a perfect throw, but there's no reason. The risk reward of that bet is.
I don't know what the math would tell you. I would guess that Luis Ariz scores at least half the time on that play. As you said, it takes perfect throw to get him, and they got him. He's going to score a lot on that play. Now, what are the odds that he still scores anyway if you hold him? Manny Machado coming up. He's red hot.
I like my cleanup hitter coming up with bases loaded.
Now,
one
just
out.
devil's advocate. No one is hitting more double plays, I think, in baseball than Manny Machado.
I take my chances.
That ends the inning there, or
I take my chance.
Strikeout as
then
possible against Arrighetti.
Why is he hitting cleanup?
I'm not saying that it's a guy you want coming up for sure.
There's no excuse.
Zero. I just don't know mathematically which pathway gets you more runs guaranteed, sending him or not sending him.
You cannot have a guy thrown out at home plate with less than 2 outs and your 4-hole hitter coming up. You just can't.
Well, you can't just if you hold everyone, if there's any chance at all that they get thrown out.
I said hold Luis Ariz. I hold Luis Ariz. I hold Jurickson Profar. I don't hold Bryce Johnson. I don't hold Tyler Wade. Obviously it's personnel driven. It's got here he is. Well, this guy's got a cannon.
If Tyler Wade had a 95% chance of scoring there, do you send him?
Yes,
but there's still a fight. He might get out.
But my odds say
what odds do you need to send him? Is what I'm saying. There's an odds for everybody. There's a scenario where you send me as slow as I am. If I have a 90% chance of scoring because the ball's in the gap,
if it's in the gap,
you're going to send
not right at him to left field. The play's right in front of him.
Yeah, but would you have sent Tyler Wade in that situation?
I mean, maybe with Manny coming up, probably not. And if they didn't score, I probably got my ass chewed.
All I'm arguing is there's always a scenario where you send, and there's a scenario where you hold.
Bro,
and then there's a gray area scenario in between.
Joey
Personally,
said,
I don't think I would have sent him.
No, Joey says if he scores there, nobody says anything about the send. Well, he didn't, and Manny came up with 2 outs, and we didn't score.
But a third base coach, if you 100% of your runners that you send score, you're the worst third base coach in baseball because you're not sending
enough guys.
Enough.
Yeah.
Your guys should get thrown out at least every once in a while for the proper amount of aggression. You should be getting guys thrown out at the plate every once in a while, which is, I think, where we've ended up with Tim Leeper at the end of the year. Had a few early where he got thrown out. Then for a while, I think, the sends were really good. You can argue this one, but you have to have a certain level of aggression as a third base coach. You can't just go, well, there's a 1% chance he's going to get thrown out. Better hold him. We don't want to risk it.
I'm not saying
it's a good
1%.
spot to risk it.
I'm saying it's personnel driven. I'm saying it's 100% personnel driven. If I'm on second base or you're on second base or Paulie's on second base, I'm not sending any of us with our 4-hole hitter coming up. Our cleanup hitter. What is his job? Cleanup. Yes, I realize Manny is wrapped into some double plays. Who's the hottest hitter on the planet right now? I'm going to give that dude a chance to drive in 3 with a double. It's just an unnecessary. And you factor in, like you said, off the air, time of year.
Now, he still had a chance to drive in 3 with a homer or 2 with a double there.
Absolutely.
It doesn't end the inning when you send him either. So that's part of the equation of the send. Ultimately, I kind of agree with you, and it's not because I was worried about Ariz getting thrown out. It's because at this stage, you don't want to set up any situation where you could get one of your guys hurt this close to the playoffs. A collision at the plate, sliding into a catcher, whatever. And that's ultimately what happened that I think made it more of a bad decision. Not that he got thrown out, but that he actually had to, arrive at home plate at the same time as a baseball is not a great thing at this point in the year.
I thought it was. At first, I was like, well, he ran through a stop sign. Then they showed the back view of Leeper waving him, and I go, oh, no, not with Manny coming up, not with less than 2 outs. There's just no way. And then, of course, he skids into home plate, and the knee, he's clutching his knee, and of course now his knee's sore. And
it was terrifying to watch him sitting there,
it's awful,
and getting worked on, and kind of hobbling to the dugout, and then it was even worse to watch him come back up and hit a double.
Double and limp in the second.
Right about when he hit first base, that's when you could see he was really struggling.
So he knew that he couldn't run when he went up to home plate. He told Mike Schilt that. He said, "You're going to need a pinch runner for me." They were kind of expecting a single because that's what he does most of the time. Tyler Wade was already like standing at the top of the dugout, ready to go out. Turned out he hit it so hard that he ended up, limping his way into second base. But that wasn't a surprise. The Padres weren't caught off guard like, oh, we thought he was healthy, and he goes out and he can't run. No, they knew he couldn't run when he hit, but he said, I can hit. And they said, okay, well, go and take one more swing and, try to get someone on base, and we'll pinch run for you. So that was the plan. Ultimately, the initial diagnosis
is what you want to hear from Schilt?
Sure. Yeah.
This was AJ Cassavell asking him about it yesterday.
A couple questions about Arise, but I guess I'll just start with how's he doing and what did he appear to kind of shake up there?
He jammed his knee in the plate, and preliminary reports are stable, sore. As you could tell after he legged out the double, but what a gamer! So I can hit. I said, need somebody to run. He goes, I can hit. So. Yeah, more fantastic at bats from top of the lineup. He was great. Pro was obviously fantastic.
Incredible night for Jurickson Profar. Works every time.
Was he listening yesterday?
Maybe I made him. I said your optimal lineup is probably Merrill 3 and Profar 5, and then he goes 4 for 4 and hits a bump. He also had there was an opportunity for Jurickson to do a Jurickson thing, and he didn't do the Jurickson thing last night. First and second, nobody out, and I went, oh God, here it comes. Here it comes. But no, he did not lay down the bunt, and I thought it was great. Yeah,
he was seeing Arrighetti well. He felt like I can hit a line drive off this guy, and he did.
I love it. I love Luis Arise. I love Tim Leeper.
Ultimately, with Arise, though, my main concern is when you hear jammed knee. Well, that's what they called. Ha-Seong Kim was a jammed shoulder.
Jammed shoulder.
They said it's not that bad. He might need to go on the injured list, might not. Well, he's still out, and we don't know when he's coming back. And that's what they called it in the beginning, is a jammed shoulder. So this is a jammed knee. Stable sounds good. Sore, okay. A lot of guys are sore. They need Luis Arise, for the postseason.
100% DH him. If you need to give him the White Sox series off, you have a chance to beat those guys without him. So
Arise said, I expect to be in there today.
He's a baller,
game 2 of the
dude.
series. We'll see if
he's a baller.
Talk his way into the lineup. But they need that guy healthy for sure. He is hitting insanely hot right now.
Well, he wants to win another batting title.
Well, he's got he could sit the rest of the season. He probably has it locked up.
Yeah.
So. All right, we didn't even get to some of the other guys in the game. We will continue our discussion and play a little Take on Woods when we start hour number 2 of the show, coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. In all our discussion of Luis Ariz, didn't even mention the fact that the strikeout streak ended. 141 plate appearances. Wasn't a bad at-bat at all, though. Fouled off a bunch of two-strike pitches, made Spencer Arrighetti work, drove up that pitch count. Ultimately, though, got him on the back foot breaking ball. And for the first time since early August, Luis Ariz struck out.
We just played that clip of Schultz talking about his knee, and AJ Cassavell asked the question. He said, I have a couple of questions on Ariz. The second question was, it's kind of interesting when it makes news that a guy struck out, and that literally was a headline yesterday.
Well, you know what else is I thought about it this morning as I was scrubbing my body in the shower. I thought to myself, yeah, what a bummer that streak ended. And I thought again to myself, in previous years of being a Padres fan and covering the team, it would have been such a big deal because we would have been out of it at this point. That streak would have been all we had. People would have been selling tickets. Hey, come see Luis Ariz's non-strikeout streak. There would have been shirts and counters. It happened last night, and I went, bummer, bummed for him. Also knew he was good for 2 more knocks. that night, like it would have been all we had, and we have so much more this season, so much more ahead.
Arrighetti is a good young pitcher and had some good stuff for sure. But even though the Padres only scored 3 runs, wasn't necessarily a poor offensive performance. What did they have, 13 hits?
Yep.
I mean, they were putting bat to ball. They hit 2 home runs. Jackson Merrill's solo shot is 24th of the year in the 4th inning, which looked like a no-doubter off the bat. And then Jackson admitted, and then I started worrying because I saw the center fielder going back and like, he might have a play on this. He said it's just at night at Petco Park, the ball just dies.
Better be damn sure.
It was close, too.
Yeah,
and
it was real close.
It was a little closer than I think even Jackson thought, but it was over 410 feet.
Now,
and he did get it over the fence.
Jerks and Profar, ye did not have to worry. When he hit that ball, you knew that thing was a rocket out of Petco Park, and he flipped his bat. I don't know. They took a picture of it, and it's out of the frame. That's how high he flipped his bat. It was elite, and what a great night for him. 4 for 4 for Jurickson. Manny Machado getting the team on the board right out of the chute. I mean, it was just fantastic. I loved an early Xander Bogaerts at bat, Ben. I think it was a 10-pitch AB off Arrighetti, seeing every pitch, setting the guy up behind him to see every single pitch in his arsenal, too. If Bogey had gone down swinging, it was still a great AB. You drive the pitch count up. You give the guy on deck a chance to see this is what he's going with. This is what it looks like. Just again, team baseball up and down the lineup all night. I just can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, baseball's weird. Just in contrast, the Padres pounded out 13 hits with 2 home runs and scored 3 runs. The Dodgers only got 4 hits yesterday.
Nuts.
One was a homer. They got 9 runs on their 4 hits.
9 runs on 4 hits.
A lot of it's timing and how your rallies play out. But they did beat the Braves. I was actually, I think we discussed this yesterday. I was cheering for the Braves in that game, hoping the Padres could lower their gap from first place in the NL West. So they're still 3.5 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West. We had the long discussion of magic numbers. Whatever it is, Padres are 2.5 games up now on the Diamondbacks, who lost to the Rockies.
Wowzers.
That was a bit of a surprise. Thank you very much, Bud Black.
Thank you, buddy.
Fell behind 2-0 in the first inning on a Ketel Marte home run. And I'm going, this is going to be a rout. The Diamondbacks score like 14 in their sleep in this game. Never scored again against Colorado's bullpen day.
It's unreal.
And the Rockies rallied, tied it, won it on a throwing error in the bottom of the 9th inning for a fairly shocking 3-2 result that gives the Padres now a 2.5 game cushion for that first wild card spot and home field advantage in the wild card round. Mets did win. They were losing to the Nationals most of the day, and they rallied 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 10th on a Starling Marte walk-off single to beat the Nats 2-1. So they're now tied again with the Braves for the last wild card spot, but 4.5 games behind the Padres, correct? Or no, they're 3.5 and the Braves are 4.5.
And
there's some separation now.
When's the Mets-Braves series? Because
last 3, I think.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Holy smokes. Padres. Diamondbacks for the last 3. I mean, look, the schedule makers, they didn't do the Padres any favors by scheduling the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks in the last 6 games of the season. I saw the Dodgers' last 6 games are, I think, pretty cupcakey, they play us. But then they have
Marlins, Rockies, twice.
Marlins, Rockies,
Padres, Rockies.
Padres, Rockies.
Yeah.
Just setting it up for him.
But
yeah.
it's the second to last series is the Mets and Braves. Is the Tuesday, Wednesday, of Thursday of next week. And then the Braves finish with Kansas City.
But holy cow.
For their last three.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down to the wire, and this is as fun as it gets.
There was one narrative-busting moment in the game last night I want to talk about. Before that, I want to open the phone lines for Take on Woods. I had a winner yesterday, a chance to qualify in our musical trivia challenge for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, 2 nights at the Wynn or the Encore, and tickets to their show, Awakening. If you want to call in now, phone lines are open, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Play our game here in a couple of minutes. The narrative buster, of course, was our long discussion yesterday about Robert Suarez in the 9th inning. And I'm sure everybody from Mike Schilt to Robert Suarez on down had a nice smile when they saw him come in and pitch a 1-2-3 ninth.
Eight pitches.
Very efficient final inning.
Hell of a nice play, by the way, by Donovan Solano at first base.
And Robert Suarez.
For getting there, catching it on the fly after a lollipop toss from Donovan. Timed it out perfectly. 1 pitch, 1 out. I don't know about you guys, but at that point, when we 1 pitch, 1 out, I felt pretty damn good about it from there on out. And I mean, I think that's why you can't knee jerk every time the closer blows a save. He's got that in him. You keep rolling right now. I mean, the guy that everybody wanted in so badly was Tanner Scott, and he had probably the worst inning for the guys out of the bullpen. But Jason Adam continues to be incredible, and Ass delivered last night, as Ass always does. Usually.
I'm sure Mike Schilt was at least quietly nodding, like after he said yesterday, or the day before yesterday, hey, if we have a 1-run lead,
I feel
comfortable going back to Suarez. Well, it was a 2-run lead thanks to Jurix and Profar, but he was coming in with a 1-run lead had Profar not homered in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Suarez rewarded his skipper's faith with a very solid inning and his 33rd save of the season. Would be nice to see him, regain some of that form and a little confidence going into the postseason, because there's going to be a moment like there was in 2022 where he's going to have to face a batter like a Bryce Harper, a Kyle Schwarber, someone nasty on nasty with a game on the line at some point in the postseason. You can just almost guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a high leverage guy. Schulte said this yesterday. High leverage guys are going to face high leverage situations. So I honestly think, Ben, if we got it, let's just play it forward. If it's Philly and they got Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, you're going to see Tanner Scott.
I would think.
There's no.
With a couple
I think you'd be insane not to. No matter when that comes up, they know when it's coming up. They've got the lineup right there. They know exactly what they need to do. Yeah, man.
But what if it's Turner, Harper, and then who's after that? Castellanos?
Yeah. I'll take Tanner Scott, too.
I mean, it's like you never know how exactly it's going to work out. What the minimum 3 changes everything.
That's true. The minimum 3 is a nightmare.
In the old days, you might have
1-1-1-1-1,
and just that's the inning. We got to get their big guys, and we're going to empty our best guys to make sure we get through that inning. You can't do that anymore.
You go Adam, Scott, Suarez. Who cares? Trying to win a game here. I think, look, they're going to play matchups, I think, down the road, but it was really nice to see. It was really, really nice to see Bobby Fastballs come in and get the job done. No sweat at all.
Don't forget our conversation with Michael King is coming up at 7:35. Really fun one we had in the dugout before the game yesterday. Right now, though, we got some contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods. All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Is this Scott?
It is.
Scott, you are our contestant today. Good luck. If you don't know the rules, here they are once again. 5 questions. You go first. Woods goes second. If you beat or tie him, we'll put you into the drawing for the trip to the Encore or Wynn Las Vegas 2 nights and the tickets to Awakening, their new show. Tickets on sale at awakening.com. And to give you the advantage, you get to pick the category and keep Woods in the dark. Your choices today, Scott: an iffy category, 5 song titles that begin with the word if; below the waist, 5 songs that include a lower half body part in the title; And our new category, Feeling a Certain Way. The word feeling appearing in all 5 song titles. So, an iffy category, below the waist or feeling a certain way. Scott, what do you feel lucky about?
We'll try. I don't feel lucky about any of them, but I'll go with the last one, feeling
a certain way. All right, this category should have you feeling a certain way about the word feeling, which appears in all 5 song titles. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time remaining. First question's the 2-second song. Paul, you're going to play you a little clip. You need to give me the title with the word feeling and the artist to score that point. 2-parter. Scott, are you ready to play?
Sure.
All right, Woods in isolation. He will be back momentarily. You can see him through the glass. There is no sound out there in our YouTube stream. 60 seconds on the clock. Scott, the category feeling a certain way. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah.
I just got this feeling, and I don't know who that is.
All right, let's move on. Now a classic rock staple, which debut single by the band Boston features the lyrics, I closed my eyes and I slipped away.
Feeling you.
Incorrect. Which 1984 power ballad was the second #1 hit for REO Speedwagon following 1980's Keep On Loving You?
Oh, what is that? I'm not sure.
Pass. All right. I like the way your sparkling earrings lay against your skin so brown is the first line of which Eagles classic?
Hotel California.
Incorrect. Which 2011 hit by rapper Flo Rida samples the Etta James classic Something's Got a Hold on Me?
Oh, good God.
That's a shutout today for Scott.
I don't think that's gonna
No, that's not going to hold up. I will just leave the answers twisting in the wind so everyone can play a second time here as Woods plays his game. The only difference is Woods doesn't get the category. See if he figures this one out pretty quickly. Let's put 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Scott.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah.
I can't fight. I'm so spun. Tom Jones. All right, pass.
Now a classic rock staple, which debut single by the band Boston features the lyrics, I closed my eyes and I slipped away.
More Than a Feeling.
Correct, which 1984 power ballad was the second #1 hit for REO Speedwagon following 1980.
I Can't Fight This Feeling.
Correct. I like the way your sparkling earrings lay against your skin so
Peaceful,
brown.
Easy Feeling.
Correct, which 2011 hit by rapper Flo Rida samples the Etta James classic Something's Got a Hold on Me.
Are you going to let me get the first one?
Yeah, go back to it if you'd like.
Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah.
Hooked on a Feeling by, it's Engelbert Humperdinck.
No, good guess, though. Now a classic rock staple, which debut single by the band Boston.
I've got that one already.
Oh, you got that
Yes,
one? Then you got all the
Flo Rida. I need
it's
Flo
a
Rida.
Flo Rida. Etta James classic something.
Taint
You
Feeling.
won 3-0.
Oh, thank God.
Feeling
we had a
certain
0?
way, yeah. That was
I needed it.
Hooked
I
on
knew
a Feeling by Blue Swede.
Blue Swede.
And Good Feeling is the name of the
this feeling.
Sounds just like Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck.
Deep Inside.
I love More Than a Feeling, though. What a jam. So the guy blanked, huh?
Yeah, it was a tough one today for him.
For-
Sorry, Scott. Thanks for playing. Woods needs a confidence-building win, though.
Scott, thank you for that
He needed
confidence-building
a little-
win.
Heading toward the playoffs, he needs to build up a little confidence. He clinched a long time ago, so
I
now
did.
he's just trying to
Smooth
keep his
it out.
form going into
Good
October at
Lord.
this point.
Sorry about that, buddy.
No worries. All right, we've got Don't Do This coming up next, and a little controversy with the ninth inning home run that Robert Suarez gave up 2 days ago to Elliot Ramos that popped up.
I want to talk about Kayak Dave in San Francisco. I read an article yesterday, and I went, somebody needs to take this guy and sit him down and have a conversation with him. He's more petulant than my 6-year-old, and that's pretty petulant.
I don't know if this surprised anyone necessarily. He's a guy on a kayak every single game of the season. looking for home run balls. What did you expect?
I expected better than this.
All right.
To be honest, I did.
Don't Do This is coming up next after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. So that voice you hear in our Don't Do This Open is Hannah Nancaro Woods.
Indeed.
Asking everybody to be better out there.
No, just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
Well, that was just for you.
Don't do this.
Right.
Hannah, of course, was the subject of some non-asked for online attention yesterday. We talked about it in our Open today.
Talked about it yesterday.
We talked about it yesterday as well. And that is also the subject of my first story on Don't Do This today. Playing the role of Hannah in this story is UConn women's basketball star Paige Beckers, who was how bad does online harassment have to get to the point where you actually go and arrest the person?
Wow.
Because that's what happened in this case. So a man in Oregon, all the way on the other side of the country from Connecticut, is being held on $100,000 bond because he just relentlessly stalked Paige Beckers. And I don't want to make too fun of him because this guy is obviously mentally not well. Robert Cole Parmalee of Grants Pass, Oregon, 40 years old, was so obsessed with her that UConn's communication department became aware of Parmalee in June after they received emails that were described by campus police as rambling. Police said Parmalee's emails claimed he was a member of the royal family and wanted to marry a member of the women's basketball team. His social media posts contained dozens of references to Beckers, including a post of a fake wedding invitation and multiple photos of Parmalee with what appears to be a diamond engagement ring. He also made posts that police officers describe as threatening to Becker's friends and family. One post on his TikTok account read, "And if I cannot live with a woman of my choosing, Beckers, then I will choose to die, and I will choose to take all of you that oppose me, oppose us to hell, and return king."
Bro, come on, man.
This guy is definitely on a different planet, but he has been arrested. And hopefully that will end the stalking of Paige Beckers.
I can't even, I've got two boys, and many of you out there have daughters, and I honestly don't know how you do it. And it's my responsibility to raise two boys that don't do that. If you find a woman that you find attractive, and you may even shoot your shot, and it doesn't work out, it ends. It's got to end right there. It's got to be over. And obviously, obviously this guy's mentally ill. But you cannot run the risk of letting this guy out again. This woman should not have to live looking over her shoulder the rest of her life.
At least he's on the other side of the country, but that's obviously
still,
not a guarantee.
When has that stopped anybody from doing anything? We hear these stories all the time. Put this guy under the jail at this point, for real. Like, you just can't. You see these stories come out all the time. Oh, yeah, cops actually picked him up for stalking.
Oh, wait. He did fly to Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't even see that part. Yeah, they picked him up near the airport when they found him walking along a highway.
Forget it.
On his way to go see her.
Forget it.
Okay,
Forget
that's
it.
even worse.
Well, good for the cops for getting him in the nick of time, but God only knows what would happen. So the punishments for these things need to be as harsh as can possibly be. Now, this is obviously a little bit more of a light-hearted story compared to that, but we all know about Dave, McCovey Cove Dave. Dave Edlund is his name.
I've seen him. I didn't really know about him.
Well, he's the guy.
I've seen him a million times.
He's the guy. He's been out there for 20 years catching balls that go into the water. All right, good bit.
Caught a lot of historic Barry Bonds home runs.
The waterborne Zach Hampel, as somebody called him in the in the chat this morning. But what struck me as interesting were his comments yesterday. We know that Elliot Ramos hit that first right-handed Cove shot. It's never happened before. Well, McCovey Cove Dave got it, and they went to talk to him at SF Gate. They went and said, "Hey, wow, a pretty big deal. This is one you wanted bad." And it was his comments, Benny, that really struck me. He was talking about himself, and he says, "Look, I enjoy being well known, getting a lot of love. I used to wear a Dave button when I was like 4 years old, so definitely I love being recognized. I feel like I've earned it. Earning it is a big thing for McCovey Cove Dave, because he said he's had certain players over the years, guys like Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Belt, Hunter Pence, that he might reach out to see if they want any of their home runs back, and he would give them to them in a second for free, no negotiation, because they earned it." He said, "Elliot, this is his beginning season, whatever that is, and I hope he has a fantastic career. He could get this ball, but he has to earn it. He has to play 10 years for the Giants and become deeply loved, and when I pass away, then yeah." And he says, if Hunter Pence had 10 balls, I'd be willing to give all 10 because it's Hunter Pence. He's given so much to baseball fans. He's earned it. Elliott hasn't earned it yet. He said, no, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Elliott Ramos, but he has to earn it to get this ball back from me. And I thought it was the way that a lot of his stuff was phrased. I went, man, this guy really thinks pretty highly of himself. But he said, I spent 20 years, and this is one of the balls I've been trying to get for 20 years, to immediately think I have to hand it back to the player. I don't agree with that. It's not right. It's my ball. I earned it. And I can do whatever I want with it. I heard that last night from Bo, 6 years old. 6 years old.
It.
6.
Well, what do you expect? The guy spends how many hours would you say on the water?
Loads of hours.
Days of his life just sitting out there. You know how many,
81 games a year.
You know
he doesn't do it for all.
You know how many splashdown home runs are hit? About an average of 4 a year.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
And he doesn't get all of them, that's for sure. I mean, how many does he maybe get one a year for all the time that he puts in?
He just got one recently. He was just in the news recently.
He did.
That was a big deal. He didn't get the parking space he wanted from the Giants, so he kept that ball as well.
Who was the guy? We just had a story a couple weeks ago where I don't remember what team or who hit something, but he was like, I want a job with the team.
That was him. That was this whole thing,
was McCovey
man.
Cove
Yes, it's McCovey Cove Dave. So the hardcore Giants fans that I follow, like Andrew Baggerly, who I love, is a brilliant, brilliant writer, was like, you're a grifter, dude. It's an annoying bit, and you're a grifter. Another guy that's really good, Garlic Fry Rye is his name. I follow him. He's a good Giants fan. He's like, dude, if you're a Giants fan, shouldn't you want to make a young rookie, like, that's his ball. Dude, trade it for a bat and a jersey, whatever. Call it a day. Like, no problem with that. But yeah, man, I think the guy wants the clout more than the actual ball itself. It's a weird comment. Just weird comments. It's a weird way to live.
Can I add like a light don't do this story? I don't know who else caught this yesterday. I'm watching the Padres game, and whatever inning it was that we had the send, and Luis Arraez gets caught up at home plate, twists the knee.
I saw this.
And it was tough. He's sitting there for a few minutes, and Ben Frazier went out there to check on him, and you see Arraez eventually walk off under his own power, and he's kind of hobbling towards the dugout. And I guess the don't do this is on to the Petco Park music maker machine.
Yes.
I don't think this was intentional, but maybe. Was it
not pre-programmed, right?
I don't think it's pre-programmed, but maybe just take into account the situation, what's going on.
I know what you're talking about.
Because in the background of the game, Don and Tony just were silent for a second as you see Arraez kind of hobbling his way over to the dugout, and I hear in the background at the stadium,
everybody clap your hands.
As he's hobbling off the field.
Trying to get the crowd riled up for the next upcoming at-bats. And I go, oh, bad timing.
Maybe it's clap your hands because he's up and walking off the field. But
everybody clap your hands.
He's like, laying there writhing in pain. It's great. It's great.
I mean, it's a totally different clap. When you clap for someone who's coming off injured, it's...
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. Everybody clap your hands.
It's a different clap. There's a different cadence to the, well, we're sorry you're hurt. I hope you're okay clap.
I looked around. It's like, I just heard that, right?
It's like game awareness or whatever. Like, hey, man, hey, listen, that guy's up there. He's got a job to do. And they're like, hey, you get this crowd back into it right now. Let's maybe they didn't see what they thought they saw. Okay? And if we get them fired up, they're just going to forget that he may be hurt. So, it was great, man. It was great.
In-game entertainment is a lot about distraction. All right, Paulie's got a doo-doo this story for us as well.
DD mega doo-doo.
Yeah, congratulations. Shout out SD. Congratulations to San Diego. I was reading this morning. There was a poll put out of the rudest and most polite cities in all of America. Do you think San Diego fell on the rude or the polite?
Well, it's doo-doo this, so I'm assuming it wasn't the rudest city in America.
Yeah. They are the number 2. We are the number 2 most polite city in America.
Who do we have to pass?
On number 1. I'll tell you who you passed.
Kansas City.
Columbus, Ohio is number 3. Kansas City's number 4.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Indianapolis,
see that.
San Jose,
See that?
Raleigh, North Carolina, and Oklahoma City.
Okay, I can see all those.
Those are behind.
Yes.
So who is number 1?
Friendliest. All right, give me big or little or mid.
Pretty big.
Pretty big city?
St. Louis.
No.
No.
Chicago.
No.
Minneapolis.
Midwestern, definitely.
Minneapolis,
Friendliest
Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
How are you?
Yeah.
Hey, don't you know?
Yeah,
How
and
are
then
you?
what about
No,
who's
welcome.
the
I brought you a
rudest
casserole.
cities?
The
New
rudest
York,
cities.
LA,
New York.
What do we got?
Counting down quickly from 10 to 1, Charlotte, Long Beach, Las Vegas, Memphis, Boston, Oakland, Louisville, Tampa, Philadelphia, and Miami, which
No New York.
a little surprising.
All right, Miami, the rudest city.
Yeah.
Sure, this is all very scientific.
Yeah, very
Very,
scientific.
very
That's
Yeah.
specific.
What's one guy walking around the streets of all these cities? Hey, how you doing? Oh, all right. Yeah, I will go after myself. Thanks.
Uber
very much.
driver is kind of rude to me in
Yeah,
Miami, so
yeah.
they're number 1.
Yeah,
That's
no-
don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, when we come back, Paulie Woods and I went down to Petco Park yesterday with a chance to talk to Michael King about his first season with the Padres and the new King of the Hill Foundation that he's getting started. And it's so much more than just a double entendre. He's got real reasons behind what he's doing and why he's starting this up. It's fascinating, and you will hear from Padres pitcher Michael King. Happens to be tonight's starting pitcher as well. Coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You might be wondering, if you listen to Ben and Woods long enough, that they sure talk a lot of Padres. They have Mike Schilt on every Friday. But you don't hear that many players on the show. Why is that? Do Ben and Woods have something against putting players on the program?
No.
It couldn't be further from the truth.
I would take a player every day.
But the reality is when baseball teams play night games, it can sometimes be hard to schedule morning interviews live. And for instance, we wanted to talk to Michael King, especially with the announcement that he's starting a new foundation. It was one of those times when players actually want to get their message out. They want to be interviewed, so they're looking for it. So this is a perfect chance to catch up with him. We talked to him at spring training. Haven't had a chance to interview him since, so we extended the invitation. What happened, Woods?
So Paulie sent out the, reached out to PR and said, hey, we'd love to have him on, help him promote his new foundation, King of the Hill. And they said, oh, yeah, he's absolutely loves you guys. No problem. Okay, great. Well, what, 9:30? Is there a chance you guys could come down to the ballpark? Sure. What, any particular reason? He doesn't get up till after your show's over. And I went, oh, all right. So we go down there yesterday, and we happen to run into Michael King as we're walking in the door. And he goes, dude, thank you guys so much for coming. And I said, yeah, we'll see you at 3:45 and record this thing and get you on your way. And he goes, great. He goes, I just got to tell you, man, I feel like a diva. And I said, oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to get you for it in the interview. So here we go.
All right, so you will hear our interview with Michael King, who, gets a nice amount of beauty rest, as any athlete should, peak condition of their bodies. But was more than happy to sit down with us in the dugout at Petco Park yesterday. You'll hear that interview right after traffic.
We're just going to actually get right to it.
We're just going to get right to it
after
here on 97.3 The Fan. With Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the King of the Hill Foundation. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, of course. I think it's been since spring training, right?
It has been. It's been a while. I have one question for you. This is where I'd like to start today. What kind of grown man doesn't get out of bed until after 10 a.m.? Michael?
I knew this was coming. Yes, I was not able to do the interview this morning. I don't go to bed until pretty late, so I need my beauty sleep, and it sometimes runs me after 10 a.m.
Well, it seems to be working for you. You're looking good and fresh and fantastic.
So it was 6.5 months ago that we first met you on the back patio at Peoria. It was a great conversation. As you look back now, what stands out to you from the journey from then to where you and the team are right now?
Honestly, I think it's all the relationships that I've developed. You got me when I honestly didn't know anybody in the locker room. I walked into a spring training locker room that was filled with big leaguers, minor leaguers, guys that I didn't know were going to be on the team or not. And now I feel like we have this extreme brotherhood, and I think it shows on the field. I think we're all fighting with each other, and it makes it for a lot better product out there, but also a much more fun experience for me on this team.
Chemistry is something I think that every radio show, every team needs to have. It's not something that can be faked. It's just not. You can try to force the issue a little bit. Was there a moment for you this season where you kind of looked around and went, "Oh yeah, this is the real deal. We are actually all together"?
I think it's been a culmination of all the comeback wins. And obviously I wasn't here last year. I got asked so many times what happened last year and what's different from last year to this year. And obviously I can't speak to what happened last year, but if you just look at the numbers, we were really bad in one-run games. We were really bad in extra inning games. And I think that those moments, I know this is the chicken or the egg conversation. I don't know if those moments make us closer as a team or if because we were already close, those moments become easier and now you're fighting for your brother next to you instead of just going out there and playing a baseball game. So I think those are the moments that I'll think back on as to how I got closer. Guys that were times where guys had my back, times where a pitcher comes in and just shuts the door down in the 8th inning and we come back and win the game. So it's been a culmination of all that, and like I said, it's been very exciting.
For you personally, early in the season, there were some good moments, also some trouble with the home run ball, and then all of a sudden it just seemed like the hard contact off you stopped. Is there something that you felt like changed or clicked in like a month and a half, 2 months into the season?
I definitely think my command got better. I came out and in my first start walked 7 against the Giants, and I think that it wasn't as much a confidence thing as it was I needed to just attack with my stuff in the zone, and then I would be able to limit hard contact because even if I was still in the middle of the plate, I was able to throw all of my pitches for strikes. In those first few starts, couple months, I was 2-0 to like their best hitter, and then obviously I have to now throw a cookie in the middle of the plate, and me hoping that it's just a 110-mile-an-hour line drive at somebody ended up being a home run. So I think that me getting ahead of counts and being more confident in all of my pitches at any point in the middle heart of the plate will play better than being 2-0, 3-1.
Talking to Padres pitcher Michael King here on Ben and Woods this morning. And listen, I know you don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you guys are planning and preparing for the playoffs. How exciting is that, just to know, hey, man, we got a 97% chance of getting in there. Going to be facing some really, really good teams. You're going to get your shot to go out there and compete against the very best and try to win a World Series ring.
It's the best. I mean, that's what you play baseball for. You got to win the last game of the season. So I think that we have been on this stretch for a long time. I also think that we've had a lot of really good teams come in here, but also coming in these last 2 weeks, and I think it'll really prepare us for playoffs. I've never started a playoff game, so it's a huge dream of mine. I can't wait to do it. I think that we have the full makeup in terms of all the guys on our team. And you can definitely feel the atmosphere, whether it be the fans that are here or just the attention to detail that we're really putting into these last 2 weeks because of
and how much, like, every starting pitcher just wants to go as long as he can, and sometimes you run out of gas, but you're never going to let anybody know you run out of gas. It's got to be a pretty good feeling to know, if I don't have my exact best stuff tonight, look who's coming in behind me to maybe bail me out or maybe secure me a dub today.
Absolutely. Yes, I want to go complete game every time I go out there. I also hate getting pulled from games, and
we know. We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen it.
You seem really friendly at every other time I've ever seen you, except around the sixth inning, when all of a sudden you look really mad most of the time.
So and I've already had conversations with Schulte where I have to apologize after because of my emotions in the moment. I hope that Schulte respects that, but so
he does.
But the main thing is, I think it happened I don't know if it was my last start or the start before. Ruben came out. It was the sixth inning, and he told me to empty the tank, and that to me was a vote of confidence, saying we still want you to finish the sixth inning, but also, like, we want you to give us everything you have for this batter or the next batter or as much as you can go, and it doesn't matter if you leave bases loaded, no outs. We're going to bring in the horses, and they're going to just shut it down for us. So that helps in those situations when we're leading, but also when you give up a couple runs in the first couple innings, knowing that if you keep it within a manageable distance, every single one of those guys in the pen is going to put up a zero, and with the offense that we're putting out there, they're going to be able to come back. And it's happened so many times, and you can totally feel that we're never out of a game.
For these last 2 weeks of the season, obviously there's things the Padres can control, things they can't control on the out-of-town scoreboard. Does it matter that much? I mean, you want to make the playoffs, obviously, but securing home field advantage, trying to chase down the Dodgers, like what level of importance is kind of that ranked in the Padres clubhouse right now?
I think that everybody has it in the back of their head. Everybody knows that all we can do is go out there and win every game that we play. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't watching all the Dodgers games, all the Diamondbacks games, all the Mets games, and rooting for the other team. But not only that, I feel like watching all the Diamondbacks games is giving me a huge insight into their approach, knowing that we could be having them in the first round of the playoffs, knowing that we could have whoever, Mets, Braves, we're watching all those games. And I think it ends up being something for us to just know what they're doing, how they're approaching these games, how they're approaching hitters, how I can approach their hitters. And it ends up being a positive for us regardless of outcome of their game.
I don't know if Mike Schultz discussed any of this with you, but when the postseason comes and there's maybe a 3-game series, are you prepared for whatever may happen in terms of role that they need you to pitch in?
Yeah, none of it has been fully discussed. And, of course, I mean, obviously I was a reliever the beginning part of my career. I obviously would love to start as many games as possible. I always joke to Ruben that I want to go 1-4-7 of the World Series. But yeah, whatever they need me to do in the playoffs, it's all hands on deck. So we're just going to win as many games as possible when it gets that, and throw whoever needs to be thrown.
I'll just counter that with, how about just 1-4? Just 1-4, and then we'll just call it a day. No Game 7s. I don't know that. Frankly, I don't know that anybody in this city's prepared for a Game 7 of a World Series. Padres pitcher Michael King joins us. Tell us a little bit about King of the Hill and what inspired you to get this thing started, and what people can do.
Yeah, so I'll try to condense the story a little bit. I started dating my wife, who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed at 23 years old. We didn't start dating until after that. But her story is crazy. So her mom has type 1 diabetes, her cousin has type 1 diabetes, her aunt has type 1 diabetes, all on her mom's side of the family. And her dad has been one of my biggest inspirations in terms of philanthropy. He was the president of the board for now Breakthrough T1D in New York. He has run countless marathons in support of type 1 diabetes. And Sheila said, I want to run one with my dad for my mom. This is pre-diagnosis. And while she was training for the marathon, she had a hip injury. She was like months into her training, and she's already run her 20-miler, and she's like, I'm not going to not run this marathon. So the doctor gave her a cortisone shot in her hip. Didn't take, so like a week later, got another cortisone shot in her hip. She was okay, well enough to run. She said it was a really painful race, but she finished. And 6 months later, she got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. There's no science to back this, but a lot of doctors have said if you are genetically predisposed to the disease, that there can be something that sparks it in you. Steroid is one of them that could be. Her mom was diagnosed at 20. She had some viral infection when she was in college and then got diabetes right after. So obviously the main focus of all diabetes research foundations is to find a cure, but we want to really specify in the genetically predisposed, seeing if there's a way to delay it, seeing if there's a way to prevent the full onset of diabetes. There's now ways to test for 4 different antibodies, and if you have all 4, it's at basically 100% chance you're going to get it in your lifetime. There's a medication that's out there, a drug that you can take once you start showing symptoms with all 4 antibodies that'll delay it by 2 years. And when I asked Sheila about it, I was like, it's only 2 years. Like, why is that necessary? And she was like, you know what it would be, or how much she would enjoy having 2 more years of normal life. Even then she's thinking about our kids, and if our kids are genetically predisposed and they can get 2 more years of normal life and 2 more years of research and development, it'd be huge. There could be a cure in those 2 years. So our main goal is to get as many people screened as possible to see if they're genetically predisposed, but then it's going into research and clinical trials and that kind of thing to see if we can prevent that.
That's awesome.
And I want to personally thank you for this. So much isn't known about type 1. We don't have a family history of it, but my son at age 14, out of the blue, started to lose weight. We didn't know why, and we almost lost him. And eventually he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He wasn't producing any insulin in his body anymore, and he's been fully insulin dependent now on his own, has to inject himself after every meal. But there's so much that's not known about this and so much research that can still be done. So just as Wood said, what for the public, if they want to kind of support King of the Hill, what are you kind of looking for in these early stages?
We're just launching. We're doing our actual launch event on Thursday, and we have kingofthehillfoundation.org. There's a place to donate there, and then on Instagram we're King of the Hill Foundation. But the main thing that we're going for now is funds to right now it's going to be give to different hospitals and companies that are located in San Diego, and that's another reason why we wanted to launch it. It's a little bit faster than we wanted to, but once we got out to San Diego, we realized the type 1 community here. Dexcom's one of our sponsors. I'm sure is your son on the CGM. So Dexcom's here, Tandem's here, Rady's Children's Hospital, UCSD. We've been in touch with so many different people here that we know we can help impact. And so that's where all of this initial fundraising is going to go to. We do have an announcement in terms of where specifically it will be on our launch event, so I'll save it for then. But we're very excited to be a part of this community and really feel the love from the community so far.
You are the King of the Hill. The Hill is the Mound Woods.
Get it. I know exactly what
there's
it
a double entendre in there.
So Sheila's maiden name is Hill.
Oh,
So
come on.
Wow. And you love the TV show, too.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Michael, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the season and hopefully in the postseason. It was great to catch up with you again.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
What great stuff, Michael King. Already respected the heck out of that guy, but even more so. Now, we finished the interview, but there's a little more to the story, as there always is. So hang on.
Strap in, buddy.
We'll be right back. Hour number 3 of Ben and Woods next year on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. A lot of people in the chat. Very touched by that interview we just did with Michael King. A lot of people in my DMs as well, wondering how they can help. King of the Hill Foundation. I think Michael King and his wife have really struck a chord with this foundation. And, you talked about your personal experience with it, Ben, and a lot of people in chat talking about their diagnosis. And, man, I was really struck with what he said about 2 more years. 2 more years. Hey, who among us, if they said, hey, potentially, I'll give you 2 more years of a really, really good life. Not that it's, it's not a death sentence by any stretch, and there's ways to combat the symptoms and things like that. But 2 more normal years. Who doesn't sign up for that? In a second. So great work that they're doing. And you sit next to Michael King and you kind of feel his energy and the kind of person he is. He is about as good as they come. So really happy he's a Padre. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders when he got traded over here. You're the guy that got traded you're the centerpiece of the Juan Soto deal. That's going to
held up on you.
Yeah, that was going to be around. That's going to be around forever. And I just can't say enough good things about the man, the person, and the pitcher. I mean, I love watching him pitch.
And I want to thank the Tier 1s in our chat who are sharing their own personal stories, as well about family members or personals, battles with type 1 or even type 2 diabetes. They're very different diseases, but any research is appreciated, and that's why I'm so thankful for Michael King for starting this foundation. Again, he'll have more details on Thursday at his launch event.
So apparently I was very excited to interview Michael King.
Were you excited or maybe nervous?
I wasn't nervous at all.
So one of the reasons we don't do a lot of those dugout interviews, and we got lucky yesterday, they didn't start the music up. The sound quality can be difficult. We're not wearing headphones. We can't hear ourselves. We're just talking into unfamiliar microphones and kind of crossing our fingers that it all sounds good at the end. And Paulie does a great job of doing his best to make it sound good, but there are many factors that are beyond our control in sometimes recording an interview like that.
One of them being our recording device has 2 microphone inputs, but there's 3 people in the interview. So had we had a 3rd microphone that was only dedicated to the player, it's a little bit easier. You can kind of adjust the levels, but there's a lot of back and forth, handing the mics over, or you talking into the microphone and then holding it in front of their mouth. But you guys are professional broadcasters. You exert a lot of energy. Sometimes the players are a little bit more laid back and soft-spoken, so I kind of ride the levels up a little bit
AKA
when they're talking.
Normal. Yeah, they talk like normal people,
Yes.
and we do not.
And then maybe you have a quick follow-up, and you take the mic back and ask the question, and now it's a hot mic. I got to adjust it. So yesterday, get home from Petco Park, and I'm editing the interview, and I noticed, I'm trying to put this like in layman's terms, basically one microphone feeds to the left ear if you're wearing headphones, and one of the microphones that you guys were using would feed to the right ear. I then go and mix it all together, and it sounds smooth, both ears, if you're listening on headphones or in your car. But I noticed that Woods' microphone, since it was isolated before I edited it, I played the interview back and I go, what is that in the background? And it was our old pal Woods just simply existing.
Yeah. Just being.
And breathing into the microphone. But because it was isolated, it sounded a little worse. I was like, I got to go back and edit that. Here's what caught my attention.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Catching up with Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the King of the Hill Foundation. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, of course. I think it's been since spring training, right?
Were you listening?
Did you sprint your way down to the interview?
No, I did not sprint. My wife, Hannah, will sometimes just shoot me a look, and I go, oh, must be breathing heavily. Sorry for breathing next to you.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Catching up with Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the King of the Hill Foundation. We'll talk.
I feel nude.
Paulie, can you remove my microphone and Michael King's audio and just isolate just Woods' microphone?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Benjamin, because I absolutely can. Here's the first 25 seconds of that interview. You might hear Ben or Michael King in the background, but this is only Woods' microphone.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Catching up with Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the King of the Hill Foundation. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, of course. I think it's been since spring training, right?
So it was 6.5 months ago that we first met you in the back patio at Peoria. It was a great conversation. As you look back now, what stands out to you from the journey, from then to where you and the team are right now?
I sound morbidly obese.
You sound like you jog here from Encinitas.
I know Woods remembers this. Paulie may be too young. Does anyone remember 1-900 numbers?
Sex lines?
Yes.
Of course you remember those. Yes, I remember the 1-900.
Heavy breathing.
3,
like
2, 1.
Oh, yeah. Somebody just said Bulldog Woods. I'm a Frenchie.
3, 2,
Oh my God!
Catching up with Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the King of the Hill Foundation. We'll talk about that in a second, but first, it's great to see you again.
Yeah,
What's your problem? What is your problem? What is my problem? Next interview, I'm going to be like this.
Mechanically, I think when I'm not talking, I lower the microphone away from my face.
I don't.
Do you just keep it up
keep it
there
right
the
here.
entire time?
Just keep it here. The worst part about that interview was Paulie said, hey, with the two mics, you have to hold the mic over to his mouth. And the mic was very heavy. So you see me, I'm switching hands several times because your arm starts to get tired.
That thing must weigh at least 1.5 pounds.
Seriously. Well, I had done upper body at the gym. I was very sore.
All right, you can't do upper body on days we got to do interviews.
So Patrick says, do I have sleep apnea?
Obviously.
Yes. Are you kidding me? We've had this combo.
Catching up with Padres pitcher Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the...
This is what... I get it now, Hannah. I'm sorry. I apologize. I totally understand. Now I'm so domed out, I'm just going to be... Somebody says, do you wear a CPAP when you're awake? I should.
First for 24 hours CPAP.
God dang, man. Bulldog Woods is great. Yeah, Frenchie. It's more of a Frenchie. Just
I almost felt bad. I mean, I didn't really, but I go, I don't know. This is it gonna bother him in the morning?
I don't
and then
care.
I'm thinking, well, if this was Ben, we probably would have done an hour on this instead of a segment.
That's true. No, I don't.
So,
I don't care at all.
no-brainer.
I mean, I sent Ben a latex doll. I mean, we all take our turn in the torture chamber every now and then. But look. I guess it's a real thing. I've fought against it. I don't believe people when they tell me constantly that I'm a loud mouth breather, apparently. But it sounded like there was some nose in there and some mouth. But all right, so now
you may be breathing out of your ears too.
I could be.
That is possible.
3, 2, 1. Catching up with
I heard the
Padres
nose
pitcher
whistle.
Michael King and the Padres dugout about to launch the...
Yeah, I need to figure out the sleeping thing. I think that has something to do with it. Sound like I was scuba diving. I'm more Alex says you can go get it checked. Bro, I've done sleep study after sleep study. I have a CPAP under my bed. I can't sleep with it on. I can't. I feel like I'm drowning, and it's a worse night's sleep for me.
Oh my God. Have you looked into that
Catching
implant that I see advertisements for?
It's
on
an implant.
television?
I'll do it. I will do it.
I forget what it's called, but
Darth Woods.
you push a button. You have a remote control. You push a button, it inflates your trachea overnight. Sounds extreme, but people swear by it.
I've seen it all. I've heard it all. They have mouthpieces. They have guards. They have CPAPs. Megan, this is one I've seen recently. There is mouth tape that you tape your mouth shut at night. So that's cool. I'll just wake up Or I won't wake up
So-
at all. Just he choked on his own vomit. Who would have thought? 'Cause
So
he
you're gagged.
Taped up. It's just panic, man. It's just panicked. All panicked. I just want to breathe normally. Holy cow. Michael, our boss, says he uses the mouthpiece. It works well. Yeah, all right, I'll try the mouthpiece next and report back. But yeah, I know how bad it is for you. Plus, I think about how much I abused my heart and lungs and for 30 years, and I'm like, oh boy, all right. It's a matter of time, fellas. So let's live each day like it's our last. How about that? Kurt says SD fat loss. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that, buddy.
I will say that I had the same problem, but losing the weight did help a ton in my
How did you gain all the weight?
It's fantastic. I'm working on it. My diet is cleaned up. I'm working out, so we'll see what happens.
The rest of the interview, though, with Michael King, I loved him talking about his mentality and his frustration when he has to come out of a game and having to apologize to Mike Schilt a couple of times for looking surly when the manager came out to get him. His last start, I thought I actually saw that when Ruben Abel came out and said, empty the tank. You've got this is it. So empty the tank here, let it all loose, get through the inning. He did. And then he's got that bullpen you talked about that you got to feel good knowing you've got those guys behind you in the Padres bullpen anytime you need it. Just give us 6 strong innings, and you're always putting the Padres in really good position.
Yeah, man. And the thing about not wanting to come off the mound, I hope Schultz, not mad at me, bro. Every manager on the planet loves that move. They love it, and they'll give you the hey, you can't. Hey, when I come to take you out, you got to go. But don't show me up or whatever. But I've never thought Michael King has showed him up at all. And every single manager is like, and plus it's Michael King. It's like getting mad at Ben. Like you can't get mad at Michael
It's
King.
not like Mad Bum,
No,
where he's just always
Or-
angry.
Like we get it. You're so intense. You're the most intense guy, Mad Bum. We understand. But it's like, he's caught up in the moment. Cool thing was talking to him before the interview, and I said, so he goes, I just have a hard time sleeping after a start. I go, what about the night before a start? He goes, no problem.
Sleep like a baby.
I go, really? Like that to me would be the one where I wouldn't sleep a wink. And then after you kind of exert all your energy, he said, but the adrenaline is so peaked after a start. He goes, I can't stop sweating. Like it's just, it's a lot. So just kudos to him, man. Great dude, great family. And I'm so glad he's here. Just what a future in broadcasting he has. I noticed you didn't hear him breathing heavily into the microphone. So.
Are you comparing yourself to Michael King?
No, I'm saying he has a better future in broadcaster than I do. Because he doesn't breathe into, and you too, he doesn't breathe into the microphone.
He's also good looking.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got
the whole package.
For sure.
Yeah.
Smile.
Yeah. It's great, dude. Great sense of humor.
And we talked to him at spring training. Like, does dad or his mom, somebody does.
His dad's a broadcaster.
Yeah, it's in his blood. He's good. He's
a
good
TV
to go.
sports anchor like me, I think. Yeah, in the Northeast, many years. Our baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. We got Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, coming up at the bottom of the hour.
He's going to get me, by the way. He's like not mad at me, but I annoyed him.
You did?
Oh, I crushed him when I was in San Francisco. I think it irked him. So he's gonna have some words for me.
When we come back, though,
and I wasn't breathing. It had nothing to do with that.
I'd like to do a quick update on the National League Rookie of the Year race, which is really going to end up with 3 guys who probably could have easily won the award any other year, but aren't going to win it this year because of probably Jackson Merrill. We'll get to that coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Woods, if I said the name Chris Coughlin, that ring a bell to you?
No.
Should it?
No.
2009 National League Rookie of the Year with the then Florida Marlins outfielder.
Don't remember him at all.
Don't remember, really?
A dark period for me.
Chris Coughlin.
Dark period.
Most rookies of the year go on to pretty decent careers. I mean, in recent vintage, guys like Ronald Acuna Jr. won it in 2018, Cody Bellinger 2017, Corey Seager in 2016.
Got like the Bob Hamlins of the world.
But there
though.
there are years where there just weren't any standout rookies, and someone has to win the award. And so, Chris Coughlin gets one in 2009. Giovanni Soto gets one in 2008 for the Chicago Cubs.
Would have been a good real or fake this week, Ben.
That's a good point. This year is not one of those years in the National League because you have four guys who probably in any other year could be running away with the National League Rookie of the Year award. Of course, we know Jackson Merrill and what he's done, including another home run last night, his 24th of the season. He has really been the spark plug that has driven the Padres to now 86 wins this year with great play in center. We all believe that he is the favorite and should be the favorite. But in any other year, obviously there's Paul Skeens, who pitched again yesterday, Woods, and actually took a loss, his third of the year. Not really his fault. He gave up one run in 6 innings, struck out 7. His ERA is still just a tick over 2, 2.07, 10-3, 2.07. He'd be a fine Rookie of the Year award choice most seasons.
You know how I feel about Paul Skeens.
You love Paul Skeens.
I love Paul Skeens.
You do.
Wish I loved anything as much as you love Paul Skeens.
Rookies don't have 2020 seasons. That's just something that's not done. Jackson Churio already has one. He's 20 years old. He's had a phenomenal year for the Milwaukee Brewers. But
I love Paul Skeens.
We know you do. And the early season favorite, remember, Shota Imanaga of the Cubs was so dominant early in the year. And then he tailed off, but not for very long.
Came back.
He's now 14-3. With a 3 ERA, had 11 more strikeouts yesterday in a win over the A's. He's actually a Cy Young candidate in the National League, but still seems to fall short of Skeens and Churio and Jackson Merrill in what has really shaped up as one of the best National League Rookie of the Year races that I think we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good way to look at the future of baseball. And, you get the feeling that Jackson Merrill's not going anywhere. Jackson Churio is here to stay. Paul Skeens is electric, and Shota Imanaga is an incredible talent. So the future of baseball, for my kids, and it's great, man. It's in great hands. These are some of the best players in the game right now, and they just happen to be rookies. So you feel pretty good about any one of those 4 guys on your team. And yes, every year you look at it and you go, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good for a rookie. These guys are, in Jackson Merrill's case and Jackson Churio, Ben especially, they are directly impacting their team's chances to win a World Series. Paul Skeens is not, and it's through no fault of his own. He's done his job, but he's played in 20 games this season. 21, sorry. It's hard for me to give, as elite and electric as he is, as much as I love him and love watching him pitch, it's got to be Jackson Merrill. And plus you think about, how many games has Jackson Merrill won for this team? How clutch has he been for this team down the stretch? That has to factor in.
And had he not gotten hurt, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is 6-2 with a 2.63 ERA. He's actually pitched even less than Paul Skeens, just 16 starts this year.
They'll probably give it to him just to give me a heart attack.
Won't throw him in the mix, but talk about 4+1 unbelievable rookies in the National League this year. Yep. And Jackson Merrill, for my vote, is just a little bit above the rest of them and has separated himself just enough that I feel confident no matter what happens these last couple of weeks of the year should be Jackson Merrill's award, but doesn't diminish or take anything away from the very, very fine seasons that all those other gentlemen have had this year.
I can say all 4 of those guys are an absolute blast to watch play the game of baseball. Churio, too. I mean, he is so much fun to watch play. And obviously, you know how I feel about Paul. And Imanaga I had on my fantasy team this year, Ben, and he was dominant for me. I love him as well. But I love Paul Skeens. Love Paul I Skeens. don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
I love Paul Skeens. He has some videos on Instagram that I lie in bed at night and I show my son. About work ethic. Believing in yourself.
It's a good sign, though, for the future of baseball.
Yeah, I just said that.
That stars are continuing to emerge.
Yeah,
you never want to be stale.
I think it's a good sign
stars.
for baseball, Paulie. I feel like baseball's in good hands in the future.
Guys like
What do you
Jackson
think?
Merrill, Jackson
good
Churio,
sign.
Paul Skeens. I think it's great for the game
I
of
do too.
baseball long term.
Well, one thing we haven't said yet is that the future of the game is in really good hands, especially with these
You can't
NL
say
rookies.
it enough.
Yeah, I guess you can't.
It's really what
You want to drive the point home.
I'm going to reiterate every once in a while. Good points.
Where's
like that.
Adam when we need him? Our boss Adam loves to reiterate things. Just making sure you guys got this email. The one that was sent to everyone, we got it. Now I have to delete yours to go back and read it. We got it. But yeah.
Does he know that makes it harder to find those emails?
That's the thing.
That is true.
It's true. If I get an email from Ben Higgins and it goes to everyone, and then I get an email from Adam Klug, reply all, hey, making sure you saw this email from Ben. Then when I want the email from Ben, I don't remember. I just see an email from Adam, and I go,
It like stacks the emails, and
It
it's
stacks
like Ben,
them. Yes,
comma,
it's
Adam,
Ben.
comma,
Right.
and it's like, where was the original email now?
I feel like you're.
Is it extra sweet because this is against the Dodgers?
I feel like it's one of those moves where you're like, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm working. I'm on it. I'm on it right now. Eyewash is what it is. It's boss eyewash. He's the reiterator. You're just the non-payer attentioner. That's the difference in Adam and yours. You weren't reiterating. You just weren't listening.
No,
It's
I just
fine.
wanted to make my own point.
And which was the same
Which
point that I
happened to
just
be the
made.
same point that you were making. It's a good point.
I think we can all agree, though,
good
at the end of the day,
The
it's
future
good for the game of
It's
baseball.
good for the game of baseball. The future is
right.
Is right.
It's in good hands.
It's good hands. It's my favorite.
All right. Jesse's usually a little sharper than I am at this point. So why don't we turn things over to Jesse Agler
He's about to roast me up
in our next segment, and he can roast Woods as much as he wants.
Sit back and relax because it's coming. I can promise you.
When we return with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Did see Jesse Agler briefly before the game yesterday when we went down to Petco Park. You guys spent some time with Manny Machado.
We did.
Who else did we see down there yesterday? Oh, you know who
Talked
I ran
Crony.
into? Pedro from the Spanish language radio broadcast team, and he talked about all the Spanish language calls that we play and how it's never him because it's usually Eduardo because he calls the walk-offs and those are the ones that we play, but he said he does listen and sometimes hears those Spanish language calls that we play.
How about me walking out on the field? So one of my buddies I used to play baseball with is a guy named Mike Ramazzotti, and Ramo is now an infield coordinator, Benny, in the Houston Astros system. And he texted me, "You coming down today?" And I said, "Yeah, Ramo, I haven't seen you in forever." San Diego guy, coached a lot of kids around here. And so I went to talk to him, and we're sitting there chatting, and I looked over to my left. I'm like, that's Albert Pujols, and I wonder what he's doing here today. That was a trip. The
That
door
could have been a do this moment for Manny Machado, I think.
The door opened, and Albert Pujols walked out with his family. I went, ooh. I was like, well, what is happening?
Yeah,
right now?
I thought he was there. Well, maybe he knows Mike Schilt,
Well, of course
obviously,
he
from
does,
the time of the Cardinals, and that's why he was there. But that's not why he was there.
That's not why.
No, he was there because it was his daughter's birthday, and his daughter is a massive Manny Machado fan and wanted to go see Manny play live for her birthday. And Manny hooked her up with the jersey and batting gloves.
So
and
sick.
I mean, that was very cool to see Albert Pujols on the field before the game yesterday.
It was very, very cool and like quite jarring, actually.
Yeah, unexpected. Because, Mike Schilt never managed Albert Pujols. He was long gone from the
But he
Cardinals.
knows.
But they went to spring trainings together and stuff in the many years that Albert was in the Cardinals organization. And Mike Schilt was a minor league manager. So,
and I know Albert's like working with MLB now, but he's probably still so entrenched in the Cardinals organization, I would assume, right?
I would guess.
Wasn't he
I don't know
like
that he lives there.
contractually required to be like with the Angels organization?
Ooh, maybe
or something,
for like a year or something?
For a few years,
Yeah.
like after his career, it was part of like the deal. So I don't exactly know what he's completely doing, but yeah, I was like, oh wait, I know that. Tony Gwynn Jr. went over, and they seemed to be pretty buddy-buddy. They were chatting for a while before the game. So, all right, we got Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, joining us. We will get to Jesse right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. A few problems in the North County, traveling on northbound 5 coastline just before Las Pulgas. We're getting reports of some sort of debris across lanes. In Fallbrook, some defective traffic signals causing a bit of confusion. Mission Road off-ramp, southbound 15. Also traveling on eastbound 78 before Melrose. There is a collision, could move into the center divide. And who thought it was a good idea to drop a wheelbarrow in lanes on westbound 78 just before Rancho Santa Fe? It's got the 2 right lanes blocked. Please, people, secure your load. Don't let traffic drag your day down. Whether headed to the office or game day, go the easy way with MTS. Trolley runs every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. It's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And we are joined right now, as we are each and every Tuesday, by the radio voice of the San Diego Padres here on 97.3 The Fan, Jesse Agler. And I'm going to start, Jesse, with a question that Mike Schilt was asked in his pregame scrum. And that is, can you believe we're down to the last 2 weeks of the season? Did it pass quickly or slowly for you, Jesse, the last 5.5 months?
It's funny because at times it feels like it's flying by. At other times it feels like it's never going to end. You're never going to get there. And this is obviously the kind of time of year you get excited about, and you're wanting to get here and like, let's get to that stretch run where every game matters and everybody, is watching every other game and what's going on. But I would say generally for me, every year it flies by. It's amazing. My kind of standard line is at the beginning of the season, hey, it's going to be Memorial Day before you know it. And it's going to be 4th of July before you know it. It's going to be Labor Day before you know it. And now, here we are now less than 2 weeks to go in the regular season. It somehow does fly by despite, kind of the crazy nature of the schedule.
So Jesse Agler joins us. Jesse, scale of 1 to 10, how concerned were you for my mental health and well-being on Friday night in San Francisco? Did you think I had ingested something maybe I bought off the street?
You seemed very Have you talked about this on the air? Like, how much background do I need?
A little bit. We've talked about it a little bit.
We talked about the outrageous 7:15 start time, and
yes,
Woodsy was.
Well-
why are they chalking the lines?
Yeah, I think Woods was like very bent out of shape about some very odd things.
Go figure.
So yeah, I was a little concerned. Call it an 8, if you want 1 to 10.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I think most places chalk the lines at about the same time.
Are you sure? I felt like there was 20 minutes to game time, and I felt like these guys forgot, and they are out there scrambling to get this field ready. And also, come on, I mean, game was 7:15 start. It was 5:30, and we're standing in line outside. They weren't letting anybody in. I found that a little odd.
I'm not an expert on what time the gates open at different places. I know at Petco, generally for the public, it's an hour and a half. I know season ticket holders can get in a little bit earlier. But I feel like that's fairly standard. It's definitely not that long in some places because, we'll be sitting there in the booth getting ready, and you'll hear, the announcement that the gates are now open. I don't pay super close attention to it, but I think an hour and a half is probably pretty standard. As far as the start times go, they do 7:15 on Friday nights because, they've figured out that that's what their fan base wants. That's what start times are all about. Atlanta is miserable. They do these 7:20s and I think 7:40s even still because of where they put their ballpark. And so knowing the traffic and where their fans are coming from exactly, they said that's what we have to do. The Padres have kind of settled on the 6:40 for their usual weekday home games. Everybody, is making informed decisions when it comes to that. All these teams are figuring out sort of what works for their fans on a certain day of the week. Everything is data driven these days. So the 7:15 is not just to inconvenience the Woods family.
Yes.
They've realized that that's what makes the most sense for them. And yeah, I think the lines were being chalked at the exact right time. You don't want it too early because then the wind can blow it around.
That's true, especially there. I don't get out much, as you can tell. I mean, I'm a bit of a homebody, so there you go. Well, no, it was a great series. Obviously, great series there. Great game to go to on Friday night. Just been a revelation, Jesse, watching this team and the way that they're playing and beating, a really good Astros team last night. I was very encouraged by a lot of the things I saw. I mean, just one thing that jumped off the page, Xander Bogaerts, I think is his first AB, 10-pitch at bat, ends up getting a single. But you feel like, man, even if he didn't get a single, Jackson Merrill behind him is locked in. Was it Merrill behind him? Yeah, Merrill behind him. Jackson Merrill's locked in, gets to see 9-10 pitches. These guys are really, really winning on the margins.
That's what they've been doing really all year long.
Yep.
I think, I turned to Scans yesterday. We were working together and before the game, and I said, the reality of it is this is such a fun, watchable team. And, there are, and I think I've said this to you guys before, there have been good teams in the recent past in particular that were really good. They won a lot of games, but they were not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Like from a fan entertainment standpoint, it can be ponderous and kind of boring and robotic and, unenthusiastic, but they're winning. So it's hard to complain if you're a fan of that team. But I think as somebody kind of dropping in as a third party and watching one of their games, it was like, this is terrible baseball. This is not aesthetically pleasing baseball. The 2024 Padres are not only winning a lot of games, they are doing so in a very watchable way because, yes, you're right. Every night there is that, 8, 9, 10 pitch at bat a couple of times that seems to help unlock things. But not everybody is up there trying to have an 8 or 9 or 10 pitch at bat. Everybody is up there, as Mike Schill likes to say, with intent at the plate. Victor Rodriguez, the hitting coach, his idea is if the first pitch you get is a good one to hit, you go hit it. It doesn't matter if it's pitch 1, pitch 4, pitch 7, pitch 11. They want these guys attacking the best pitch and not sort of being in this passive mentality of, oh, we got to run the pitch count up. That's just what we're going to automatically do. There will be times for that, but there will also be a lot of times for aggressiveness. And the fact that they put the ball in play as much as they do, the fact that they're able to kind of do, as Manny and Fernando like to say, what the game is calling for at a given moment, makes it a very, very aesthetically pleasing brand of baseball. So not only are they really good and really talented, but they're really enjoyable to watch, and that's been such a joy all year long. It really has.
Talking to Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres here on 97.3 The Fan. And We hear the talk. The Padres are a sexy pick nationally to make a deep run in the playoffs, a team nobody wants to face in the postseason. At the same time, you're also reminded last night that anything can still happen injury-wise. You see Luis Ariz, a collision at home plate, and how tenuous it all is, whether it's a position player, a pitching staff, and now you got to get to that finish line, Jesse. And your thoughts kind of on that play, the sending him home, and the play at the plate, and then him coming back out and just hitting, and then limping his way around to second base.
Yeah, I mean, it was such like a weird fluky play. I mean, I watched the replay a couple of times, and I still was never entirely sure, what happened. It looked like maybe his foot got stuck, and then he kind of tumbled and, landed awkwardly. But, I mean, who knows what exactly happened where. But, look, this is the reality of sports. We saw it last weekend at home against the Giants with Jackson Merrill. He fouled that ball off his knee and came out a couple of innings later. And, look, it all worked out pretty well. He missed one game. He was back in the lineup on Sunday. And, it is a good reminder that these kinds of things not only can happen, but often will happen. And that is, unfortunately, the reality of sports. And this team all year long has had stuff like that happen. They have weathered storm after storm after storm. Remember, Fernando missed a bunch of time. Bogarts missed a bunch of time. In addition to that, you had Musgrove and Darvish on the shelf basically all summer long. And they've survived it. And not only have they survived it, they've thrived at times with guys missing. Now, I'm not saying I want Luis Ariz to miss more than a day, because I think that would really hurt this team. But the reality of 2024 for the Padres is they are able to, handle pretty much everything that comes their way because of the depth and because of the talent and because, again, that kind of style of play that they have where they're not leaning too heavily on one or two guys.
It's kind of a deeper philosophical question, but Jesse, I was watching the broadcast last night, and Tony was on with Don, and they talked about the guys that the Padres have brought in this season. And Tony said, look, that's by design, to bring in a Solano, a Peralta. And, we sat and sold ourselves last year on the Matt Carpenters and the Nelly Cruz. The only difference was they didn't produce. I still think that's been the trend for A.J. Preller. They just happened to hit this year, which I find interesting. Do you feel like with A.J. in his tenure here, that's something he's kind of learned over the last few years of like, all right, maybe the mercenary guy isn't the best, but I want to bring in these veterans and guys like that have been there and are hungry still. Like I said, more of a philosophical question, but I do feel like that's where it's kind of trending. Again, the only difference is this year, all those guys have produced and contributed greatly.
It's a great conversation to have, and it's one Tony and I've had on the radio a bunch this year. First, let's start with the AJ piece of it. You guys think back to the very first show you ever did together. How much better are you now than then?
Oh, God.
Infinitely. Same for me, the first game I ever called. For anybody with any job, right? I don't care what you do. If you're, paving streets, you're much better at it after 10 years or 8 years than you were on your first day. That's just how life works. And when Peter Seidler would regularly, publicly preach continuity and not wanting to burn through, different heads of baseball operations, this is why. I think for a lot of reasons. This is what you get. You get somebody who has learned things, just figured out more, and naturally, because he's smart and curious, has gotten better at the job. I was all about Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter last year. I thought those were the exact kinds of moves that team needed for that roster. As you said, it didn't work out. Part of it was health, part of it was age, part of it was just where they were. But, those were the two guys that I said, absolutely. Because I envisioned Carpenter and Cruz providing a lot of what Solano and Peralta have provided this year. And look, sometimes it just doesn't work out. This is not a perfect science. You don't know as a GM or a head of baseball operations that for sure something is going to work out. The idea was right last year. I stand by those decisions. Obviously, it went very badly in both cases. This year, it has gone very well in both cases. That doesn't mean that they're going to nail that move next year. It's just sort of like the crazy nature of baseball. But look, you have to have a mix of guys on the roster, in terms of what they're able to provide, in terms of where they are in their career, in terms of their hunger. And maybe that's the thing with Peralta and Solano. A couple of guys, maybe their mindsets are a little bit different than Cruz and Carpenter, who I think it's fair to say probably a little bit more accomplished in their careers previously than these two guys, although Peralta and Solano both have had very nice careers. But there is something to that. But yeah, I mean, you're always trying to find the perfect mix personality-wise, skill set-wise, everything like that. You're going to hit on some, you're going to miss on some, but you always got to stay nimble. You always got to stay ready, to tack and make another choice.
By the way, did you guys see what they called Donovan Solano in the Padres clubhouse?
Was it the teacher?
Teacher,
Yeah,
yes.
teacher.
But not only because he is so wise and, helps teach younger players. This got me because it was our Annie Heilbrunn who tweeted out. Also because he kind of looks like a substitute teacher, they said, is why they call him teacher in the Padres clubhouse. All right, speaking of teaching, Jesse, the Incorporator is always an educational segment as well because we get to learn new words that you have to incorporate into the radio broadcast tonight. And today, I'm giving you a word that I think is going to be useful in your baseball broadcast. Maybe not just tonight, but maybe going forward, something that you use all the time after today. Paulie, if you would, please.
Angstrom.
Angstrom.
Angstrom. I have a lot of angstrom about the playoffs.
That's just angst.
Angstrom.
Angstrom.
Jesse, an angstrom is a unit of length. It is the equivalent of 1/10,000,000th of a meter or 100,000,000th of a centimeter, named after Swedish physicist Anders Jonas Angstrom. It's usually used to measure light wavelengths that are so microscopically small they don't have any other measurements for them.
Got him by an angstrom.
Got him by an angstrom. That's kind of what I'm implying. Now, you can use it however you want, but that's what I'm kind of thinking here on the Incorporator.
All about astrophysics. Love it.
Well, you do have the Astros in town. So.
Oh, the Astros are in town. You see, the Astros, they just call it physics, right? They don't have to put that in there. They just call it physics. So they're good.
They're like if you multiply the amount of time it takes from when you hit the garbage can with the baseball bat.
Oh, my.
Woo!
Salty Jesse.
I love Salty Jesse.
Until it is heard in the on-deck area. Yeah.
Love it.
Jesse, as always, appreciate it.
Still some booze for Altuve. I heard last night, which is just, it's like never going to end. It's crazy.
It's a bad one. It's bad.
It's bad.
Tough.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I like that guy. I like that dude.
No, he's a great player, and he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer. But
it's bad.
Like a lot of guys in this game and over history, that's going to be a thing that sticks.
100%.
It just is what it is.
Thank you, buddy.
Good broadcast
Appreciate
tonight
you.
at 6:40. We are out of time. That was Jesse Agler. We've got 1 hour left, though. We'll come back. Paulie's going to give us some headlines on the Reindler Report and your chance to win tickets to tomorrow's series finale and Fernando Tatis Platinum Glove bobblehead game. All coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away. Our thanks again to Jesse Agler for joining us each and every Tuesday, usually at 8:35. We talk to the voice of the Padres, always one of my favorite segments of the week because Jesse is a very sharp individual.
Sharp cookie.
He is. You know, you mentioned you were feeling angst and will continue to feel angst through the end of the baseball season.
Sure.
Which I agree with you. You get to this point, every game becomes even more stressful. What I was not, I mean, we were already kind of stressed about the White Sox games coming up later this week, just because you feel like every other team has had their way with the White Sox all year long. Most have swept them. They're, closing in on setting a modern record for worst season in baseball history.
And they, by the way, those players, they don't want that record.
No.
Those players do not want that record.
And they're showing it by, at the worst time possible for the Padres, showing a little bit of fight the last few days. They won their third straight yesterday. Double up the Angels 8-4.
Come on.
Andrew Benintendi is red hot. Now, anything can change in the next couple of days before they get to Petco Park on Friday. They just got Yohan Moncada back from the 60-day injured list. He said, hey, I'm just here to try to keep us from getting that record for losses, and we're going to go all out. Like, they have the newfound drive and inspiration just for these last 2 weeks against these opponents that they get to face at the end of the season.
They're only 43 and a half games out of the wild card. 43.
Part of me
and
says, can't you just roll over like you did for everybody else all year? The other part of me says is the Padres are still vastly superior and just need to take care of business this weekend.
They have a negative 307 run differential. Negative 307. The Angels, negative 138. The Marlins, negative 201.
Those are bad teams.
The Rockies, negative 224. And they are dwarfing these teams. Minus 307 run differential. Listen, I know it's baseball and anything can happen on any given night. You need to play these games against the White Sox. I mean, you need to play them and go all out.
Did you say 43 and a half out of the wild card? They're 51 games back of Cleveland.
Correct.
They got that E next to their name in the standings. I wonder when that went up.
July? A long time
Put
ago.
another way, Woods, the 470 runs they have scored are 100 less than the second worst team in baseball offensively, the Tampa Bay Rays. The 777 runs they have allowed are the most allowed by any team in baseball. It's a little bit closer. The Marlins have allowed 768, but they're both the worst team in scoring runs and the worst team in preventing runs at the same time.
They took a lot of heat off the Angels for their season. I mean, the Angels are atrocious. I didn't realize.
The Rockies have allowed more because they play at Coors Field.
I did not realize just how atrocious the Angels have been this year, and somehow managed to win 60 games. But it just, you cannot take any opponent lightly, especially not in mid to late September, and you really can't afford to drop any of these games. You just can't.
We're not going to have a 100-win team unless the Phillies win almost every game the rest of the way. We're not going to have a 100-win team in baseball for the first time in, I think, close to a decade. We only have the 100-loss team. I mean, the Angels are at 90. You just have to win probably, 3 or 4 more to avoid the 100 losses. It would just be the Rockies have to win a couple more to avoid 100 losses. But it's really been a much more balanced Major League Baseball standings top to bottom, other than the White Sox, who have been insanely bad.
You're cutting into the Rindle Report.
All right, let's get it started.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Rioni makes the good point in the chat. The Angels took care of the Padres, and so did the Rockies. You are absolutely right. I shudder. I shudder to think how we would be right now had we just taken care of business against those guys. But hey, listen. Hence, if that's not good enough reason to let you know you cannot take your foot off the gas when you play Chicago, I don't know what it is.
I remember texting with a buddy. I think it was before a Colorado series. He's like, "Oh God, these guys, they got our number." I go, "Yeah." I guess I'm only finding solace in that we play well against the good teams. For whatever reason, we can't beat the Rockies.
Yeah.
We're not going to face the Rockies in October. Just don't let them be the reason you're not in October.
Correct.
It doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but I digress. We will start off on a local story here. San Diego FC had an announcement yesterday. They announced that Mikey Veras will be their head coach. That's going to be announced officially later today, I believe, with a press conference down at Snapdragon Stadium. He was most recently the interim head coach for the U.S. men's nationals. And he said yesterday, I'm reading from ESPN here, the opportunity to build something special from the ground up with such ambitious and committed ownership and in a city with such a passionate fan base is truly exciting. I look forward to working with the team and the community to develop a winning culture from the start. I will give everything to this club and the people of San Diego. Don't know much about Mikey Veras other than what I just told you.
I will learn as I go.
We will.
Yep.
We're all kind of on the same page there.
He's only 41 years old, so kind of on the younger side. To go with a really young GM, the sporting director, Tyler Heaps, that they hired a couple of weeks ago. So this is a team that is trying to build through youth with their Right to Dream Academy that they're building at Sequan, and are looking to develop a long-term strategy, I think, with building everyone together at the same time. We'll see if it works. I mean, we don't know enough about necessarily the inner workings of the MLS yet as a new city and new team to know if this is a good strategy or not, but I kind of like it.
Winter games?
They start next March. I think, is when the 2025 season begins.
I'm telling you, it's hard for me. It's going to be hard for me. Don't scream at me out there. I haven't watched much NFL football at all because the Padres are in it. They're in it, and my focus is 97% on baseball. And guess where it will be in March? It's going to be 97 to 98% on baseball. I will do my very best. We all will to try to catch the games, try to stay in the know about it. But Craig's got you covered. Craig Elston's got you covered. Right, starts right here at 10 a.m.
Heaps, the GM's only 33.
Good,
which is crazy.
Lord.
But AJ Preller, I think, was either 37 or 38 when he was hired as the general manager of the Padres.
Right.
I mean, now he's 47. And
yeah.
As Jesse said, I thought very wisely pointed out, you're only going to get probably better and better at the job as you go. And if a team can get through some of those growing pains and take some lumps, all right, this didn't work. Let's learn from it and move forward. And as long as the guy you hired is willing to learn from mistakes and is not stubborn about it, you're probably better off sticking with the guy that you have than just making constant changes, chasing success.
Ben, his best year as GM by far deserves a ton of credit, and I think a lot of us in the media, everywhere. I mean, look. Good
morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, AJ. I haven't talked to you in a while. I think we're eating our words a little bit. I know I was pretty hot after the Bob Melvin scene, but I mean, look, it's all worked out right now. Now they haven't won anything yet, but it's just been a fun year, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. And obviously,
he's absolutely positioning himself for the
front
runner for executive of the year.
Yeah. Here's $92 million off your books, and go make your team better, and he absolutely has.
If he doesn't win it, it's because I think there's a bias against him.
Maybe.
But I think he deserves it.
All right. In college football, I saw the story from Brett McMurphy, NCAA insider, and I wonder if this is going to be a trend across at least the bigger schools with prominent football programs. Brett McMurphy says that Tennessee announced they will be adding a 10% talent fee on all football tickets starting next season. This fee will go to the players, helping fund their proposed revenue share with the team. Tennessee estimates that per-seat price increases will average at about 4.5% for the entire stadium. So tickets will be going up.
Now,
and 10% of those ticket sales will go to the team. And I wonder, I mean, if you're a season ticket holder for Tennessee or any other football program, nobody likes those ticket price hikes. We talk about it almost every year here in San Diego. Just talked about it a couple of months ago. I get it. But if you know that 10% of that money is going to the players, does that change anything for you?
Well, now you get the guy that says, I pay your salary.
Yeah.
And he's right. I pay 10% of your salary. You get it.
Well, this is a very direct way of doing it, but ultimately you didn't think that the schools were actually going to pay.
No, they're not going to go.
We're going to like reach into their own pockets to pay the players. They were always going to pass that cost along to the fans and the boosters one way or another.
Yeah, that's how the rich stay rich, buddy.
This is the direct way of doing it, but no. I was like, oh, you mean, yeah, the college president, yeah, I guess I'll take 20% less salary, and all the professors are going to take 10% less salary so we can pay the athletes.
Those coaches love to slash
that was never going to happen.
No.
It was always going to be passed along to college sports fans.
Correct. Well, it's so different
pay the
between
players.
Professional sports and college sports. Like professional sports they get all their money from advertisers, broadcasting deals, etc. Like there's not really like a Padres booster club, but every school has their alumni base. They have a booster club. Like you are investing in the school and in the program, not so much the individual players. So you're happy to pay whatever it costs to build a new facility, to bring in better talent.
And like they said, it's the SEC. You could tell them, we're going to take a pint of blood from you every time you come to a game, and it's going to help the program. They'll be like, sign me up. Where do I sit down? You got a cookie for me and apple juice after? They will do it. You know what? They could hike it by 50%, and they're going to pay it. They're going to pay it. They love their college football almost more than anything. So I bet you there's 7 fans that are mad about it out of all of them that got their tickets raised.
I mean,
bet
they could have
don't
just
care at
raised
all.
prices and not directly said that's what it was for. I'm sure other schools will be doing that, but ultimately they got to find that money somewhere when they're going to be paying players directly.
Yeah, and Adam says the Padres are the booster club, but they don't take money and funnel. Like they don't go leave an envelope at Jake Cronenworth's locker. Here's $300. Nice play.
I will say, though, and I saw Bryce Miller wrote about the old days of the Padres and Ballard Smith when he was the team president, and they were looking to, like, sign Steve Garvey, and, like, they didn't have the money for it, so they went to the radio station.
That's right.
And asked, hey, your ratings will increase if we get a good player. Can you give us $500,000 right now?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine if they
insane.
went to the Padres went to Michael right now? You know, we want to trade for Luis Ariz, but we can't afford him. Can you guys just float us $1 million or something? I mean, that's how they did it in the old days.
Absolutely. The power of radio. It's incredible. Incredible.
So, yeah, they're calling it a talent fee. And real quick, I just saw the first comment below Brett McMurphy's story was, at Florida State, they're actually giving you money back on a lack of talent fee.
Terrible, man.
Ouch. All right, and then this is a very serious subject here, but it's kind of the biggest news. Some of the biggest news in the world right now is what's going on with Sean Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. He was arrested last night in New York at a
think
hotel.
you lose all nicknames at this point.
Yeah,
Sean Combs.
You're now just Sean Combs.
Yes.
Yeah,
Prisoner number.
He was arrested, and from what I'm reading, there was no official word on the charges, but of course it is related to the long list of sex trafficking allegations that he has been facing now for over a year. So since last November, he's been hit with 10 lawsuits alleging rape, trafficking, other crimes. They raided his homes a few months back. You might have seen like helicopter footage of that. And so now he is in custody. He has been arrested. And it's just, it's a really, really awful and just horrible, gnarly story.
I read a part of the lawsuit the other day, and I really couldn't wrap my head around it, but let's just say it had involved a lot of drugs, a lot of underage women, and a lot of drugging of said underage women.
Ugh.
And you just look at it and go, how long did you get away with it for? Seemingly a long, long, long time.
He's been on the scene for a long time.
Diddy's been around. Diddy was around when I was in college.
Early, mid-90s.
Yes. Yeah. And just, he's toast. I mean, he's just
his
toast.
attorney said he's disappointed with the arrest.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
quote, to his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with the investigation. I think that's about the only thing you can say.
Yeah.
It's just, It's
Pretty horrific.
Pretty awful, man. Pretty awful. And that's
Ben,
a
you want to
downer.
weigh in on
I
the
don't
Diddy?
really want
All
to
right.
weigh in that much on this story, other than no more Diddy nickname. You
Nope.
just
Sean Combs.
Sean Combs. What's his middle name? Because usually when you
Puffy.
are really
Sean Puffy
I don't
Combs,
think
yeah.
that's his middle name.
Oh.
Sean Love Combs.
Sean Love Combs. Well,
That sounds too nicknamey too.
I mean, I just got back from Alcatraz, and it's a fate. You know, in my opinion, it's a fate worse than death going to a place like that, and that's really what he has to look forward to. It's gnarly. So,
Who else?
yeah,
is,
who else
involved?
will be implicated?
I mean, it's gonna be dragged out for a long time, I'm sure.
Won't be us. I'll tell you that. Ben and Woods, we're in the clear on this one.
We're good.
We are in the clear.
We are good to go.
As far as I know. I speak for myself.
Ben?
Well, I mean, I do have Delilah.
You have Delilah at home.
At
That's
home.
true.
I don't think I
But
can-
that's that's safe.
I think that is.
That's safe.
This segment of Ben and Woods brought to you by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit. Your wait is almost over. But if you can wait just a couple more minutes when we come back, your chance to win tickets to the Padres Astros series finale tomorrow. We'll look ahead to the Padres Astros game tonight. All coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Everything okay, Woods?
Yeah, I'm good. Just had some get some bank fraud going on. Happens.
McAfee, Total Protection.
All right.
Like what kind of fraud? Like someone opened a credit card in your name?
No, somebody's charging things onto my account that weren't me.
Are you sure that's not just you on Ambien? We've gone
this
through
one,
this
trust
before.
me.
Okay.
I'm very careful to cast aspersions unless I've done my research, Benny, and I can assure you.
Was it for $36 for a doll?
It was not
No,
for that.
That didn't raise any red flags.
I'm just going to tell you that it was for, where is it? We're talking, I mean, it's very little money. I mean, it's like $100. I mean, but $100 is $100, right? Yoga.
That's how they get you. They start with smaller numbers.
Yoga Go, 2 purchases from Yoga Go. I mean, even in my darkest ambient haze,
You're
would
more
not.
of a yoga don't go.
I'm a yoga
sort of
don't
guy.
go kind of guy. And so I looked at that and I saw it processing and I was like, well, let's make sure it hits. And then it hit. And I'm like, all right, I'm on you, dude. I'm seeing you. And it had an old email address that I used to use that was attached to it. I was like, and I had gotten like an Experian alert that said, your email address is on the dark web. And I'm like, oh, great. The dark web.
Isn't all of our everything that we've ever had is on the dark web?
Pretty
Our
much.
Social
It
Security
feels-
numbers, our email addresses, our bank account numbers, they're all somewhere on the dark web.
Somebody's got them.
Someone's got them.
Well, like we said before, you want to steal my identity, you take the good and the bad. All right, you go home, you feed my kids.
If you want to go to my yoga classes for me,
Absolutely.
go right ahead.
But you got to go home. You got to pick the kids up from school. You have to make their dinner. You have to.
Yeah, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna really do it.
If you really want this, then you can have it. But come and get it all the way. You don't just get my money. You got to take the whole thing. So if you're gonna steal my identity, steal it 100%.
Where are you? Where is Yoga Go?
I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
Know where it is? What it is?
I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. But I know I didn't spend any money there.
The source of simple home-based yoga workouts.
Nope. Hannah did not buy it. We don't have the same account. So, yeah, this is a moment. And the thing is, man, if you don't look at that stuff and really go over it with a fine-tooth comb, it's not a lot of money. So I would have, I just happened to look at my bank and go, what the hell is this? I didn't get any yoga mats or anything. It's a body weight workout thing. Oh, no, I didn't do that.
They'll start with like a 50-cent charge, maybe a
Oh, yeah.
$3 charge,
Yeah.
just to see if it goes through, and then you can get hit for the
Yoga
big
Go
ones.
is for workout apps. No, I don't have a yoga workout app. I looked at my subscriptions last night. Nothing. So somebody's out there sniffing around trying to get free apps off your boy. And so I had to make the phone call, but no big deal. We're all good.
Padres are on an incredible run of starting pitching right now. Remember
It was a
when
good
they
segue.
remember earlier in the season? You're welcome.
The sky is very cloudy. Yes, I do remember.
So quietly, obviously, Yu Darvish hit 6 shutout innings yesterday.
Pitched really well.
Martin Perez had 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run the day before. Before that, it was Joe Musgrove's turn, 6 shutout innings. The day before that, it was another, let's see, that was Dylan Cease when he went 6 shutout innings with
really
10 strikeouts. And even before that, Michael King, even though the Padres lost his last start, I think he went 5 innings, 1 run against the Mariners in the loss. So they've gone all the way through the starting rotation and getting really good work at a good time of the year for it. The Padres pitchers seem to be turning in some consistent performances lately.
Yeah, man, I got into not an argument, but a guy in our DMs on Ben and Woods was like, man, when's Ruben going to catch some flack here? And I'm like, for what? And he's like, well, I mean, we got guys out there going 4 innings. And I said, bro, it is early September. Guys are cashed. Weird stuff has been happening. The Joe Musgrove thing we've talked about, just a weird 6 minutes for Joe. But I said, other than that, man, like, our knock on wood, our rotation is healthy. And honestly, their stuff looks great. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And I said, look at where we are right now. I mean, I'm like, you want us to get on the air and start casting aspersions at Ruben Niebla. I said, it's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not going to happen. And again, I said, Ask the pitchers themselves. They'll tell you, I didn't execute that pitch. My plan was good going in. The plan is formulated with Ruben and the catchers and Ben Fritz and those guys. Man, they've done a bang-up job. How many? We're 21 games over 500. I'm not about to go after Ruben Niebla at all. So it just was kind of just one of those things. And he said, well, so after the 4 excellent starts in a row, I wrote back. I said, you feeling better? He said, I need to see it continue. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. It's never going to work that way. It's a team effort. The guys are pitching well. Let's roll.
So while I'm definitely excited for tonight's matchup, especially after we talked to Michael King yesterday and see him back out on the mound up against Hunter Brown, he's having a good season for the Astros. I mean, all of their pitchers are. He's 11-8 with a 3.59 ERA. The reason I kind of bring it up is tomorrow's matchup is... Well, that's ace on ace territory. It's Dylan Cease and Framber Valdez, and it is one that is going to catch everybody's attention. And we have tickets to give away for that pitching matchup and game tomorrow. It also happens to be the Fernando Tatis Jr. Platinum Glove bobblehead game. If you would like to win tickets to tomorrow's Padres-Astros game, you can call us right now. Fifth caller, 833-288-0973 is going to win 2 tickets to tomorrow's Padres-Astros game. Again, the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Fernando Tatis Jr. bobblehead. You can grab your tickets at Padres.com/tickets. There are, count them, 5 more home games left this season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. 6 road games, and then it's all playoffs at that point going forward. And you know how many playoff games you're guaranteed? Well, none at this point.
0.
But even if you make the playoffs, 2 as a wild card. If you make it as a division champ, a top 2 seed, you're guaranteed 3. That's it. So savor every single one of them. Padres are on a good run right now. Good luck. See everybody calling in. Paulie will answer the phones during the break, and we will come back.
And kiss the roach.
Final segment of Ben and Woods coming up on a Tuesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but I stumped Benjamin Higgins. Basically, he thought I had lost my mind when I read. We were doing a little bit of the Astros Padres look ahead, and I looked at ESPN.com, and it said that the game tonight is on True TV. And I said, well, that Benny, game on True TV tonight.
That doesn't sound right, Woods.
He had to walk. He got out of his chair. He likes to be right, man. He got out of his chair, walked over, peered over my shoulder to double check my work.
True TV, what the hell?
I don't get it. I don't understand. What does this mean, Ben?
True TV. I don't know. It's part of the TNT TBS package.
Okay.
Like Don sometimes goes and calls games for TBS.
Yes.
So they have a TBS game tonight. It's Phillies Brewers, but it's a doubleheader. And the second game is Astros Padres on True TV. I believe, and now the game will be on Padres.tv, I think, as well, according to my listings. It may even be blacked out here in San Diego on True TV, but that caught me completely off guard that the Padres were on a network broadcast tonight.
File it under things I have no idea how it works.
You should be able to watch the game tonight however you normally
watch it. Now, what is the purpose then of it also being on True TV? Who does that benefit?
Everywhere else in the country.
Everywhere else in the country.
It'll be a nationally televised game outside of San Diego.
Okay, so it's like what happened to me when I was in San Francisco. I pay how much does MLB TV cost?
$20 a month.
Whatever, $20 a month.
Or no, you pay for the full package, right? Not just the Padres TV.
Yeah, I pay for the full package.
I don't know how much that is.
So it's a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's more than $20 a month.
So, and I also pay for the Padres one, right? So I go to San Francisco, and we go to the game Friday night. We don't go to the game on Saturday, and it's a long day. The kids are a little gassed. We get some food, and I go to turn the game on. It's blacked out. I'm in San Francisco, and I thought to myself, but I pay for the app, I pay for the games, I pay for all of this. I pay. So I tweeted, if you pay for MLB TV, you should be able to watch any game anywhere. Dumb bastards is what I tweeted. People are like, oh, you got to get a VPN. No, this is why I pay for the app. It's like me, I have Max. It used to be HBO. It's like me paying the exorbitant fees for Max, going to Chicago, and I can't watch The Bear because it takes place in Chicago. Oh, you're in Jersey? No Sopranos for you.
Local blackout restrictions apply.
It's absolutely absurd, and it's one of the worst parts about Major League Baseball.
Just go to L.A., you can't watch anything.
I can't watch anything. Oh, man, I really want to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sorry. It was down there in Bel Air. You can't watch it. It's absurd. I get the Showtime app. Oh, I can't watch The Chi because that's in Chicago. It's so dumb.
So do you want me to do a little Bensplaining here?
Not really. I just want it fixed is what I want.
I know you do, but there's a reason. There's a logical reason for it. It's frustrating for you as the consumer. It actually has more to do with entities like Odyssey as rights holders or, Padres.tv. That's Padres owned, so it's a little bit different, but Bally Sports before, they went away here in San Diego, and they still broadcast many TV games. So they want you to obviously sign up for their TV subscription.
So
Bally Sports.
I'm glad you said that.
Right.
I pay for Cox Cable. I have an app on Cox called Contour, which I'm supposed to be able to watch anything that's if our house sitter is watching.
But when you're
cable.
in San Francisco, someone in San Francisco, I think it's NBC Sports Bay Area, pays a ton of money to make sure that when you're in San Francisco and you want to watch the Giants game, you have to watch it on NBC Sports Bay Area. And you probably could have in your hotel.
No.
They didn't have it
was
available.
not on.
All right. Well, that's why they do that, because they pay a bunch of money to make sure if you're in San Francisco and you're watching the Giants, you're going to be watching on NBC Sports Bay Area, and everything else is going to be blacked out.
Which is, again, it's funny. So a couple months ago, I'm down at Jersey Mike's getting some lunch, and I put on the Contour, and they're like, "Oh, you can't watch what's actually on your TV. You have to be on your home's Wi-Fi."
Wi-Fi kills me,
bro. And I'm losing my mind. Give me a fee, whatever it is, I'll pay it, and I want the freedom to watch whatever I want, wherever I. What if you were Ben? What if you, for a living, didn't do sports radio and TV, and you were a salesman, and you went, but you love the Padres, you love them. And you went city to city. I used to travel 2 weeks out of the month. What do you do then? You know what you do? You do what I did on Saturday night and texted a buddy. And for the first time in my life, I streamed an illegal game. Streamed it. Is that the answer that you want, MLB? Because, and by the way, it was as crisp and beautiful as any feed I've ever seen. I've broken many laws in my life. I felt dirty about it, but I didn't feel dirty because I said, I pay an exorbitant amount of money to consume baseball, and you're not letting me consume it. So make it make sense. There's got to be a way to figure it out. You can jack the price of the app up. I rarely travel. But when I go to Hawaii or if I go somewhere else, I want to be able to watch my favorite team. What if you were an outside salesman? What would you do?
At some point, technologically, they're going to be able to figure out a way that knows, hey, you've paid for it. It's your device. You should be able to watch it anywhere
you go.
But when you're still in someone else's market and they control the market, they have to.
So that's how they protect. Anywhere.
That's how they protect themselves. They have that little fence around their market that you can't watch it when you're in their little circle.
It is so frustrating. It's so frustrating when that happens, because look, I'm going to be going back to Texas. There's all kinds of places you can go in the course of a baseball season. You want to be able to make sure you can see your favorite team, especially with the exorbitant fees that we pay. So again, I ask you this, MLB, you hear me, local radio host. I'm probably going to get arrested today, just so you guys know. I'm going to have to do time for this. I had to stream. It's also my job to watch, cover, talk about the game. So
You're a monster.
So I'm probably.
I would never illegally.
I'm probably going to.
Sport.
I'm probably going to prison today. Because
They wanted you
this.
to buy the Giants season package.
Hey,
so
how you doing?
Watch the
Yeah,
game.
no, I'm staying down here. No, I'm staying down. Here's my address of where we're staying.
I
just
never
need a quick.
Watched a UFC fight.
I need
on
a
my
quick
phone.
cable subscription. Do you have a 1-day subscription? Here's the other thing you could do. Charge me $19.99 for one game. I'll just pay it so I can watch the effing game. Pay-per-view. Figure it out. Figure it out. It's why your league every year is everyone's like, oh, I'm blacked out. I mean, it's just absurd. I don't have any problem consuming football if I want to watch football. I really don't.
Well, Major League Baseball is definitely the most fractured. I mean, they've got all your local radio and television broadcasts for 30 different teams, each with their own crews and everything. And then you have multiple national. There's the MLB on Fox, obviously. There's MLB on ESPN. There's Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, which is even kind of different than the regular MLB on ESPN. There's MLB Tuesdays on TBS and True TV. There's MLB Network games, MLB Network Showcase games. There's Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, and there's Sunday Leadoff on Roku. They have a lot of different partners and packages.
Somebody said there's a stream called Meth Streams. I'm going to pass on anything called. I feel like that would get a red flag.
Probably.
Meth Streams. I think it's out of Victorville. Actually, is where they do that. No, I don't know what to do. It's absurd. And again, I'm a rube. I'm a sucker. You got me. Like I'm such a baseball fan. That's the other thing is I like to watch other games and other teams. I was yesterday watching the Met game on my phone. You got me. Like if I go somewhere, I just want to be able to watch my favorite team play. That's it. And again, I'm paying through the nose for it. And so again, to have to go and hey, bud, do you have a illegal stream that I can watch? Is that what you want?
But you don't feel
MLB?
bad because you are paying for it,
and then some.
Yeah. I know.
And
I know
then
you
some.
are. No one pays more than Woods for most things.
Somebody and everyone's hitting me with you can get a broken Fire Stick. I've had the Fire Stick before. It looks like the VCR tape I bought in New York City on Canal Street of E.T. or Back to the Future that a guy was holding his camera up and recording it. My 12-year-old ass got duped into buying like 10 of those tapes for $100 of my allowance money. Coming home, go, Dad, look at all these bootleg movies I got. You put it in, it's like, there's $100 down there. I've always been a rube, apparently. But it's so frustrating, man. So frustrating. So now you got me, Ben. You got me, baseball P1, out here stealing streams. Well done.
What would be, let me tease this. I want to know what the upper limit you would pay for just the unlimited access to anything, anywhere for Major League Baseball for one season. Do that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, not too bad of a wrap-up for our morning drive. Just a few things to mention here. Crash the clearing stage on southbound side of the 805 Telegraph Canyon Road off-ramp. Also, northbound 15 before University. Stalled car in the fast lane. And in the North County, clearing an accident eastbound 78 before Melrose. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so put a price tag on it. I mean, normally we're talking $20 a month is what the normal cost is, but it comes with the various still restrictions. We're talking unlimited, everything, every game in Major League Baseball, regular season, postseason, just for 1 year.
Well, I already pay a lot for cable. I pay a lot for cable, pay for the app, and pay for Padres.
I mean, it should be about it's about like $120 a year for Padres.tv if you want to pay for the whole season, right?
Pay for the whole season. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I have MLB TV, right? Which again should allow me then because I pay for both.
So you pay for Cox,
yeah, and
pay for Padres TV.
Yes,
you shouldn't. Shouldn't have to do that.
But I do it because I want to make sure, Paulie, that every TV that I go to in my home, I can make sure the Padres game is on.
If you have Cox, it's just channel 83 every night.
Channel 83,
right?
Right. But
so you don't need.
But you can't do that. But can't you stream it on your phone?
So then,
Cox?
what if I go to get a sandwich, or my wife makes me go on date night?
Well, then you listen to 97.3 The Fan on the Odyssey.
I get it.
app.
If I want to watch the game, and I go,
you shouldn't watch while driving.
I'm not driving. I'm on a date night with my wife that she's
You
forced
should be
me to
enjoying
go
dinner
to.
with
She's
your wife.
forced me to go to. I'm at a date night, or I'm at a seminar for my kid's school or something, and I need to watch the game. I can't because I'm not on my home's Wi-Fi. It really is absurd. It is just a bunch of double talk and double charging, and it just crushes me. Now again, I don't go. About 90% of the time, I'm in the clear because I'm watching the game on my ass at home. But the 10%, like when you travel or go somewhere, or you got to go see some family or something, it can screw you.
All right, so what's it worth to you? No worries, no hassles.
For a year?
Yeah.
$500.
$500.
Easily.
All right.
I pay that, and I don't think twice about it.
MLB, you have a customer waiting for
$500.
the new package of the $500 for anytime, anywhere access to everything.
Yeah.
Matt says in the chat, Woods is the reason companies do this because he'll pay for all of it.
Bro, I just want it easy, Matt. I just want it to be easy, dude. I don't want to have to steal. I shouldn't have to steal streams to watch a baseball game. Nobody should. Nobody should. But I also realize that not everybody can swing $500, a year. And then again, those people will steal streams. First time I've ever done it. First time I've ever watched an illegal stream. I feel like I've checked off every criminal act that I want to ever check off my list.
One of those websites, I would never use it, but it's Stream East.
Right.
And there was a picture going around, I think over the summer, LeBron was like at a summer league game, sitting courtside, and somebody took a picture from up above and behind him, and you zoom in, and he's watching Stream East on his phone. LeBron James. Watching illegal streams
illegal.
Of baseball, basketball, whatever, football.
Now, Woods, I think I know. You also want to know that if you ever have any problems, you can call in and, speak to a representative. And when you're streaming illegally, there's no customer service department ready to fix your problem.
I don't think I've ever called in to complain about a problem.
Never.
To be like, well, I mean, if your service goes out or something, you try to reset the deal, reset the modem, and you wait and you do whatever. But Jocelyn's dragging me. Jocelyn, she says, Woodsy married up. Stop making it sound like you're forced to go on a date night with your gorgeous wife. I love date nights with my wife. My wife also likes the Padres. We both are she that night was like, what do you mean the game's not on? So it's not just me. But yeah, you do. Sometimes you do have the date nights of like, no, we have to do this. And the game happens to be on. So that's just it's a poor example, but that's all it was an example. So they make it really hard. And listen, I don't think they should give their product away for free. Absolutely not. You can't give products away for free. That would be a dumb business model, wouldn't it?
What kind of idiots?
What kind of
would
idiots
give their
would
entire
do 4 hours of content,
content,
their heart and soul on the house? On the house. CJ, I get it. First world problems. I understand that. I'm talking about a problem.
We live in the first world.
We live in the first world. I mean, seriously. It is just a tough thing, and it's frustrating. And again, if I didn't pay for anything, I'd be like, oh, all right, well, you got me. I pay for all of it, and I still can't get it, and that's the bummer. You want to get what you pay for, as the old saying goes.
This may be a topic on a future roundtable. Don't forget, you can tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. for 97.3 The Fans, commercial-free Padres Roundtable featuring. So commercial-free. That means not only are we not charging you, we're not even making you listen to commercials.
We're not even charging them.
We're making nothing at all.
And it's an extra hour for us.
Other than the great support of our sponsor.
Bunch of suckers.
San Diego Roundtable Pizza. For takeout or delivery, go to roundtablepizza.com. Roundtable, the last honest pizza. It is pizza royalty, Woods.
Here's something I didn't know. Somebody said, you got jokes. So to be clear, watching the stream is not illegal. Hosting the stream is the illegal part. If you're watching it, are you hosting it?
No.
No. Somebody else is hosting it.
I mean, I don't know anything about this stuff.
Maybe
so
I just cancel all my. Maybe you just lost a customer. Everybody, it really came in.
Yes,
great.
but one day they crack down, and then you don't have it.
And then I just pay. I'm already paying.
Just move on to the next website.
I'm already paying right now.
It's the contract with society.
It's frustrating, and I realize it makes me sound like a boomer. I get it. But I am a boomer for that reason, so that I want to be enveloped in baseball at all times. And I'll pay what it costs, and then you don't let me envelop myself when I go, an hour plane ride north. I can't watch my favorite team. It doesn't make any sense. Okay?
All right,
That's it.
Don't forget, we got Padres baseball for you at 6:40 tonight, Game 2 of the 3-game series against the Astros. Sammy Levitt with the Eco Water SoCal pregame show at 5:40. Be listening for Jesse Agler to work the word
Jesse
angstrom.
Angler would be great.
Angstrom.
The fisherman.
Angler.
Jesse Angler.
I was thinking angstrom, and I got angler.
Jesse Angler.
Out of it. Angstrom, a tiny, tiny distance of length, like a light wavelength measurement, is the incorporator word for tonight. So you can be listening here on 97.3 The Fan or the Odyssey app in San Diego. Or you can try like Woods to find some other way to stream it.
Have fun watching it on True TV
Have you
somewhere
tried to
out there.
submit for reimbursement to Adam?
No, of course not. Of course not.
All right, we'll come back. Big League Wednesday tomorrow. We'll see you at 6 a.m. Until then, Annie and Elston up next. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.